All right, boys and girls. Talking a little Aaron Rodgers action. Let me switch that. Bam! Pat McAfee show. Starting in like 15 seconds. Boys and girls, the link for the stream for the Pat McAfee show will be on the pinned comments in the live chat. So I'll have mine going up here on the TV. We'll talk a few topics as things pop up. Figure this will be kind of fun. So if you want to watch along, click on the link in the pinned comments. If you don't and you want to just hang out here, that's fine too. Totally up to you guys. I see Steven in here saying, Ryan, who I hope, sorry. Hey Ryan, how I hope today is the day. The news came out earlier is a good sign, but I have to hear with my own ears. I completely agree. Now, Pat McAfee, I don't believe they are expected to have Rodgers on. So this would be a surprise announcement. Plus, I want to hear if there's any insiders that come on here. So we'll sit and watch. I was going to plan and sit and watch the show anyway, so doing it with you guys is kind of fun. Cyanide says, hopefully we have an answer from Rodgers himself today. Fingers crossed. We are going to have to hear about Lamar Jackson as well before 4 p.m. Oh, man. Anonymous says, when do you think we hear the Rodgers news? I hope it's today. I hope it's before the Talking Jets panel. I have a poll question in the chat if you guys want to answer that. Do we find out about Aaron Rodgers before Talking Jets at 8 p.m. today? I expect there to be a lot of speculation. I think there's a lot of back-end moves that have to be made. I think it's going to be for more than just Rodgers. Jet Up Buttercup says, sooner rather than later. Charles, Ryan, thanks for doing a great job. Everyone hit the like. Thank you, dude. Always appreciated. Percy Haskell. I fully expect to see a bunch of angry people in here today. Toaster baths all around. Yeah, it feels like we're on the edge of our seat. We're going to go atomic if something doesn't go our way. Sean says, Ryan from Bonnie, Scotland, just made a decision. A-Rod, put us out of our misery. Just make a decision, A-Rod. Yeah. I hope we find out about it. How could he have Rodgers on if he's talking to us? I don't think so put it this way. He's supposed to be talking to the New York Jets right now. They're continuing talks. I'm assuming Rodgers is in New York at this point. I know he was in New York, what was it, Friday or Saturday night when we were talking about it with, I think he was visiting his girlfriend. I think that's what it was. Could he hop on? Possibly not. But Rappaport could come on. AJ Hawk. They'll wind up breaking news on there too. I could see Rodgers coming on to set the record straight. I have not made an official decision yet. Something along those lines. Oh, Mike says, you have the coolest job. I hope to see you on ESPN soon. You're charismatic. Thank you. This actually is not my full-time job, though. I am a director of golf, and it's winter, so I'm just not working right now. But I would love to do this full-time. This would be something fun. I really do enjoy talking sports with all you guys. Number one Volo fan says, harsh reality is always better than false hope. 8 words to perfectly describe being a Jets fan. It'll be Wilson. In the end, shake my head. Oh no. I don't want to believe that. I cannot go with another year of Zach Wilson. See, I saw your chat and you wound up sending the super chat. So thank you all the same. Yeah, harsh reality is always better than false hope. I'd rather, if Rodgers says he doesn't want to be here, that's fine. I think it's the Packers that don't necessarily want Rodgers, and I think that's where things are in a decent spot for the New York Jets. Because if the Packers don't want him, Rodgers, I mean, unless he's willing to sit down and be QB2, I don't see that happening. I don't think the Packers want to pay him that much money. AJ says, did you see what Schefter just posted? That report concerns me, to be honest. No, if you guys have anything that pops up, let me know in the chat, because I did not see that. Jets Fanatic says, wait, Ryan, can we get Derrick Henry? I don't think it's likely. I would be surprised. You have Breece Hall, you have Bam Knight, you have Michael Carter. There's no reason to add in another back in there. But I do think that you could see Derrick Henry go to either Buffalo, who was trying to get Breece Hall, or to Atlanta to go back with Arthur Smith. I could see that situation playing out. They sent him to the NFC side of things. Chris says, I think it's happening, bro. Prediction on draft compensation. 4th rounder that could turn into a 2nd if playoffs and plays 2 years. Man, that would be dirt cheap. Cyanide in the high tide. I haven't seen Ryan with glasses in a long time. Looks good on you, good sir. Thank you. And what's interesting is I'm curious to see if you know me at all, because I don't think I've ever worn glasses on stream. I just got these bad boys last week. I could not see anything. Been going without glasses for like 15 years. But thank you for noticing. Ryan, this is Mr. Motivation, and I just want to say I feel motivated enough to say Rodgers will be a Jet. Jets. Jets. Peter, your lips, God's ears. Ryan, Lamar Jackson is way better than Aaron Rodgers. We should pick him up. If the Jets have an option to get Lamar Jackson for 2 first-round picks, I would tend to... I could agree, but I think it would be if the Jets don't get Rodgers, then we'll be in on Lamar. So I think the Jets are going to impose a deadline by 4 p.m. today, because the Jets may have to start talking to Lamar. Like, we need you to be serious. Ron. Ryan Ward says, how likely do you think it is that Lamar Jackson gets the non-exclusive tag today? I still think it would be very surprising to see him get the non-exclusive tag, just because why would the Ravens give him up for 2 first-round picks? I feel like they can get a lot more from a team that's willing to give him the contract that he wants. And I think if there's any truth to the reports of Lamar not wanting to be back in Baltimore next year, then there's no reason to give him the non-exclusive tag, which would allow you to match it. Give him the exclusive tag and allow every other team to bid for him. So I think he gets the exclusive tag, and I don't know if it's going to wind up being a realistic trade option at that point. I would pivot. I would give up... 3 first-rounders is a lot. I don't know. I would be at least sniffing around Lamar. Nick H says, my brother keeps trolling me with fake Rodgers trade reports. I'm sure everyone's getting these. Ryan, St. Andrews, just down the road from me. Plenty of bars to talk golf. Welcome anytime. Sean, there is a very high non-0% chance likelihood that I will be in Ireland for the Hall of Fame induction. So maybe I'll look to do something over across the pond with a few Jet fans. We'll see how that shakes out. It's Mo. It said the trade will be done today. Hope so. V-Man says, I told you last night, mark my words. It'll come true. Christopher John Krug says, according to NFL, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers had received permission to talk with the Jets about a potential trade. Ian Rappaport. Yeah, I think you'd have to have that. And I think it's almost piecing together puzzle pieces that are already known, because they would have filed tampering charges if the Jets were talking to Rodgers without it. I would envision the Packers would open up trade conversations with every team outside of the NFC, and if the Jets aren't offering enough, then I would think you would at least want to open it up. But I do think that we are actively trying to work out the bugs, and Rodgers should be a Jet. TextFam Discast said, what wide receiver do you think we bring in if we trade for Aaron Rodgers, assuming we cut Davis? I think it's likely we cut Davis. I think it's just as likely, though, that we restructure him on another deal that maybe brings him back for 2 more years. I'm I don't know. Trade-wise, I think Cortland Sutton is a really interesting option because of the connection with Hackett and the wide receivers coach, who I'm blanking on right now. I think any free agents like potentially Michael Thomas or an Odell Beckham Jr. would be interesting. Mike Evans is the one that was brought up earlier today in our live chat that I would like him. Mike Evans provides a very different profile receiver that I think would be very attractive. I just don't know what it would cost to get him. Silas Jones says Lamar told the Ravens he wants to leave. They will tag and trade him. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think it's going to be the exclusive franchise tag because they don't plan on matching any trade anyway. Carl Bananas says rumors are Brady is interested in coming back to Miami. I think he definitely is. His kids go to school in Miami. It's a non-income tax state. They tried to cheat their way into Miami last year. They're missing a first-round pick because of that attempted, nefarious actions or whatever he was doing. I think it's possible. I think they may wait until like September. I don't know if we'll hear about that anytime soon. Hennessy Heisman says the weirdo is going to keep stringing us along. I hope not. I hope we cut bait if we get strung along too long. AJ says, Ryan, just more random personal question. What do you mean by a golf director? What exactly do you do? I love golf. So I run a golf course. I actually run 2 golf courses. I run an 18-hole course and a 9-hole course, and I do the hiring for the whole property. I don't oversee the grounds team. Like there's a different team for like the outside staff, and then there's a different team for the food and beverage staff. But like golf operation wise, anything from staffing to starters to player assistants to pro shop staff to the merchandise that comes into the pro shop, that's me. It's fun. I don't get to play a whole lot of golf. There's a lot of hours in it, especially in season, but that we're in the Northeast today, I was able to actually create this channel because I have, a layoff period in the winter months. So it gave me something to kind of kick around and do. It's fun. It can be stressful at times because, especially with events like the course I'm at, we do a lot of golf outings. Like we do I think it's over 150 golf outings a year. And that ranges from 16-person outings up to like 100 and almost 50. I think 155 was the most we had last year, to the point where like it's not okay. Like you could double up a foursome on every golf hole to equal 144 golfers. But like this charity came in and they were like, oh no, but we have 150, whatever. I was like, okay, we're doubling up the putting green. So you're going from hole 18 to the putting green and then to hole 1. It's interesting. It's fun stuff. But when everyone is like dialed into their event being their main focus of the entire year that they've organized the entire year, it's so important to them, but you have to make sure you recognize that as someone who deals with 100 golf events or 150 golf events throughout the year. It's easy to become lackadaisical, I guess. But I like it. It's fun. Snotty Bojangle says, Jets fan from Ireland. Hopefully the weather is good for you. You have heritage from the motherland, or is it just holiday? Always thought you had an Irish head. I do. I'm like 97% Irish. We did a 23andMe. I had always assumed I was 75 Irish, 25 German based on like parental lineage. But based on 23andMe, I'm like 97% Irish and 3% like Scandinavian Nordic. So I'm like 3% beautiful. If you want to sign it that way or say it that way. I'm going over we have a group of friends. It's me and Becca, Shay, and then the 3 other couples are going out there. It's like a friend trip that we're doing. None of us have ever been to Ireland before. We planned it as a group. We did this cool little thing where like each couple came up with a different destination and where we were going to pick. And unfortunately, we picked our destination back last summer prior to the announcements of Klecko and Revis going into the Hall of Fame. So I'll wind up being in Ireland for that. And maybe I'll go kiss the Blarney Stone. I don't care if people piss on it. I'm going to kiss the Blarney Stone. Maybe that'll break the curse. That'll happen. I do care that people piss on it, but I'm going to kiss it if I'm over there. Jigs29 says, as elite as Rodgers is, do you still feel like he fits Joe Douglas, Robert Sala's rah-rah, all gas, no break style? Well, I think Rodgers wants to be all in. I think he wants to be the guy that dictates how much, how much say he has in the offense. And I think the Jets are willing to give him full control of, what players he wants to bring into the offense with Hackett. I think, coordination-wise, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. And I think Salah's going to be fine with that. I don't think there's going to be any issues when you have that level of play coming from there. So I think it's more likely that Rodgers would want to go to a defensive head coach because of that perk, as opposed to maybe an offensive coach like you would have in Vegas or in Miami, where he may not have as much say in the offense. Doubtful says, don't know if it's been mentioned, but according to Schefter, now Panthers are in on Rodgers. Yeah, I don't buy it. It could happen. I don't buy it though. I feel like they're primed to draft a quarterback. And I mean, they do have a lot of picks, so that would be like the conversation. Like, okay, well, the Packers are trying to get the 13 pick from the Jets, and the Panthers have the second overall pick. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not the case. I don't see that. Jets carpetbagger. What? Ryan, a golfer? Look at you. Yeah. I'm a golfer by job, not by skill. I am not a good golfer. Silas Jones says, Patriots are tagging Jonathan Jones. Pat's getting weaker. There's going to be a lot of tags going around. Rick Fisher says, I live on a golf course in Florida. Want to run another? Not particularly. I like the Northeast. Tez Hughes, thank you for the super chat, says, think we can get Jeff Simmons to help on the defensive side. I don't know if we need much help defensively. It sounds like Robert Saleh is going to try and retain all our own guys, or Douglas is going to try and retain all our own guys if we end up getting the, the quarterback. We'll try to bring back a lot of our own defensive guys. I don't think we'll bring in too much outside help, aside from guys that know the defense already, like maybe a Jimmy Ward. That's someone I'd like to keep an eye on. How much control over play calling would Rodgers have? I don't know if he necessarily calls the plays, but it might be like hey, here's 3 plays we like. We like option 1, 2, 3. Based on what you see at the line, you switch it to whatever play you like. I think that's more the direction you see with like a play calling aspect with Rodgers. But I think he'll definitely have his hand on like everything that goes on offensively. Jets Fanatic, where did you get that Jets lamp? That, not a lamp. Sheet metal sign on Etsy. Wrapped it in an LED. Thrifty I am. Hennessy Heisman says, Rodgers is not going on the McAfee show. He may not, but we may find out other information that is going on with Rodgers. And I'm going to sit here and watch it anyway, so I might as well watch it with you guys. Brett says, if Rodgers is gone, what would you prefer for our Jets to do? If Rodgers is gone, I would pivot to Lamar Jackson, but I think it's going to be too rich for us to ultimately trade for him, and I think he goes to the NFC. Especially if it's on the exclusive tag, I think the Falcons seem like the best position to make a run at him. Now, I would love for the Panthers to make a run at Lamar Jackson because they have a lot of picks, and now that report of Schefter saying the Panthers are involved with Rodgers, I don't know if Rodgers wants to go to the Panthers. Like, what does that necessarily ring a bell to him? That seems like it's probably off. Sir Drinks a Lot says, question, and Orlando Brown, a possibility for us. I think it's definitely a possibility for us, depending on how things shake out. If they wanted to spend premium capital on an offensive lineman, he's one that I would really look at. He can play left and right tackle, so you could still draft a tackle if you really wanted to. Or if Mekhi Becton, doesn't work out, you can kind of figure it out that way. Orlando Brown to me is going to cost a ton of money. He's going to be like 20-some-odd million a year, and I don't think the Jets have to go that route when we have the 13 pick. I think he's an option. I don't know if it's very likely, but I think he's an option. Justin Thomas says, I think they are negotiating a contract right now. The trade will go through by tomorrow. That's my prediction. I think they want to have a week to get the rest of the ducks in a row because you're going to have to restructure a lot of contracts on the Jets side. I think we see some sort of trade where more players are involved to get the value of the trade up higher for the Packers. Because I think right now the Jets don't feel like they have to give up a whole lot to get him. Kabir drops in, says, do you know what time Aaron is joining the show? He's not scheduled to join the show right now. I have it on the little ticker, no scheduled meeting with Aaron Rodgers for the Pat McAfee show. So it's literally just us watching it and hoping we hear something whether it be from Aaron Rodgers or maybe Ian Rappaport or something along those lines. Snoopy says, that Panthers report is a last-minute attempt to try and get more picks from us. I agree. I don't think the Panthers make a lot of sense. I do think they're in the conversation to trade up for a quarterback, though. I think if, like, Arizona's looking to move back or Chicago's looking to move back, I think the Panthers feel they could miss out on a quarterback because I think the top 4 quarterbacks go within the top 7 picks. And I think if Lamar goes to Atlanta, then Carolina's kind of left holding the bag there. So Ryan Ward, if the Jets do get Rodgers but still miss the playoffs, do you think Saleh and Douglas get fired? No, they'll run it back unless Rodgers retires. If Rodgers is here for year 2, Saleh and Douglas will be here. If the Jets miss the playoffs in spectacular fashion and Rodgers retires, I could see them hitting reset. I don't like that because I do think Douglas is our best GM we've had for a long time, and I like where Saleh's at. I think we've at least created an atmosphere where players want to come here, and unless he loses the locker room, I don't want to see him get fired. Jets Fanatic, how are we going to get an offensive lineman, Ryan? I think he's talking about if I were to give up a pick, I guess, right? That's what you're kind of talking about. I mean, you can get an offensive lineman I think through the draft is the most likely scenario. I think center is definitely coming through the draft. There doesn't appear to be one better than McGovern on the open market, and we didn't try to extend McGovern. So that one seems to me like a lock that it's going to happen. Tackle, there are a lot of really good tackles on the free agent market right now. I'd have to pull up the list, but there's like 3 or 4. I think the guy from Atlanta, obviously Orlando Brown, McGinchey from the 49ers. There's going to be a few guys that are going to hit the market that I think you could address offensive line with. It's going to be more expensive. So I think a realistic option could be the Jets drafting one at 13, getting the cheap one for 15 at 13 for 5 years, as opposed to paying a high priced one for a little bit. But I'm not against a veteran tackle. So Crates says, blue light glasses on. Love you, brother. I just got them. My eyes were absolutely getting destroyed from sitting in front of my computer too long, so I needed to do it. Look at Edward Stewart. Nice shirt, Ryan. Have mine on as well. Got my offensive rookie of the year shirt. I got my defensive rookie of the year shirt in the other room. Got to represent our boys. Eddie says the Bears are going to throw the bag at Orlando Brown. I could see that. They have so much money and they got to protect their quarterback. That would be nice because then they're not taking a tackle, I don't think, in a trade down situation. Like let's say the Texans want to trade up the 1 pick and they have to give up the 12 pick. Then I feel a lot better saying that the Bears are not going to go tackle, and I think one could fall to us. Jordan says, run it back with Darnold with the weapons we have. There's a soft spot to me that would really love to see Darnold here. If I were Sam Darnold, I would try to go out west with Kyle Shanahan. I think that makes a ton of sense. I think you could take an incentive-laden deal, compete with Trey Lance, and then they have Brock Purdy as well. And you're not going to look better than how you would look in the 49ers offense, I think, for Sam. And that's something we've always talked about too. The 49ers offense is coming in over here. We should keep Sam because he's made for that level of thing. I would love to see that. Ryan, the Saints are minus $50 million in the red. We can trade for Rodgers. Yeah, money's not an issue. The Saints are going to rework all their contracts. They'll be fine. WAP Baby says, New York Jets just threw an update on YouTube about Rodgers. Ooh, let's see what they said. Is it anything good, I guess? Is it, what's going on over here? Let's see. I don't see it. Am I missing something? I'm probably missing something here. Yeah, if you guys see it, let me know what they're talking about there. Austin Power says, let's go, baby. Rodgers was our QB1 target all along. Let's go get him. Hope so. Zach Wilson says, Aaron Rodgers is traded to the Jets for 2 seconds. Let's go. Rodgers is coming. That's what he's thinking. We'll see. Turntables already put a bet in for Jets winning the chip next year. Plus 2,500. Yes, I put a $100 bet on the Jets winning at 25 plus 2,500. I heard a rumor. Now, DraftKings still has them at 2,500 plus 2,500, but I've heard we've now moved up to plus 1,800 on some bet sites. So if the Jets get Rodgers, I would imagine that might jump up to plus 1,200. We'll see. WAP, baby! Thank you for becoming a member of the channel and supporting it. Thank you so much. You got some cool emojis in there, so drop some JETS in the chat. Jets Fanatic says, wow, wish I could have a Jets channel like you someday, Ryan. Don't do it for the money. It took me a long time before I made anything at all. And I do it for fun, right? Like I still have a full-time job. It's not something I could support myself on right now. Sonny Miller, Ryan, oh my gosh. We really have a McAfee's watch party. What's happening? I know. There's enough Jet fans that were like, yo, we got to see what's going on with Rodgers. Let's talk about it. So, whatever. We'll have fun with it. We'll talk about it. I'm excited for the draft and that stream. Getting ready to have a lot of fun. Joe says, Ryan ready to pucker up when Joe Douglas gets this deal done. Yeah, I will smooch him right on the Jets. Thomas Roberts says, out of 10, how confident are you Rodgers becomes a Jet? I'm at a 10. I really think it's going to happen. I've been saying it for a few weeks now. I think there's been a trade in principle for a long time. It's just a matter of what Rodgers wants to do. And now that the Packers are satisfied with what they could get for Rodgers, they've allowed us to talk to him. Now it's just the Jets have to figure out who Rodgers wants with him. And then the Jets have to go back to the Packers and say, okay, look, we're trying to get Bakhtiari. He really wants this. I think that's a possible outcome as well. But I do think I'm a 10 out of 10. I do think he's definitely going to come here. Chris Roman says, do you think the Jets will have to give up the 13th pick for A-Rod? See you at Black Bear soon. I'll see you there. Yeah, I'm supposed to go back the 10th, but I'm kind of hoping weather pushes that back a little bit. We'll see. Michael says, did you see the Mixon news? I did. He's definitely going to be in some trouble if that sticks. I don't know. I guess he is involved, might be involved, or there's some speculation that he might be involved in some type of shooting in his neighborhood. Yeah, his ass is going to get dropped if that's true. Justin Thomas says, ordered Jets jerseys, Klecko, Namath, and Asanga Mets jersey from China. LOL, please let them look legit. Only cost $75 for all three. Yeah, I actually have four actually, I'll show you. Hold on. I have 4 jerseys that are like knockoffs that I bought for prop purposes. I had an idea that I was going to do like this whole AFC East type thing in my head, and I wound up not running with it, but I'll show you what they look like. So I got all the different jerseys, but it's all right. It's solid quality. It's like slightly not there. Like if you're up close and you've had other jerseys, you'll be able to tell that it's not like 100% legit. I'll show you this is the version of the Mac Jones one. They're comfortable enough, and for $25, like for my purposes of using it for like stupid little things like this, it was just enough. Like I'm not willing to buy a fucking Tua jersey for like $150, but I'll throw $25 at, the hope that maybe they look okay. So yeah, $25 a jersey. If you don't care about the quality of the fabric too, you'd probably be all right with going it that route. Finger Lakes Jet Fan says, I remember Ryan's first video looked so cute. His smiles and laughs weren't as good back then. Yeah, my smiles and laughs, I used to get a lot of shit for that. You're like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, sorry, that's me. I laugh at a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's like a nervous twitch or something. Thomas Coons, Thank you for the super chat. I don't see any comment associated with it. WAP. Thank you. Says Jets are talking to Rodgers right now. It just updated on their channel on YouTube. Cool. I guess I'm not going over there to see it. Well, I'll try. Let's see if I can pull it up. What the hell am I doing here? All right. What do they got going on over there? Was it a short? What did they do? I don't see any video. Hour ago. Talk with NBC Sports. Someone send me the link. Drop it to me on like Twitter or something, and I'll take a look at it. I just don't see anything with Rodgers on there, unless I'm like really missing it. Adam Greenberg says, per Dan Graziano, the Jets and Rodgers have continued talking today. Yes, I have the little tweet rotating down below, but I haven't seen any updates. So if you guys see stuff like that, definitely let me know, and I'll try to throw it into that little spot down below there. Nick W. Ask Asman about his jerseys from Parts Unknown. I've had some bad ones. Did I throw it out? I may have thrown it out. I had a Jets Talk 247 one because I was able to hit like more than 2 characters on the back of the jersey. It came out so ugly. I was like, I'm never wearing this. And then I bought what did I buy for my dad one time? I bought some jersey for my dad at one point, and it came in and like the NFL logo in the middle was like slightly askew, and I tried to like heat it up, melt the glue, and remove it. I've had some bad experiences with knockoff jerseys, so like buyer beware on those things. But the ones I got were, the most recent ones are okay. TJ Decker, Ryan strikes me as a guy that laughs at funerals. No, I wouldn't do that. I do try to make a really good effort. Anytime I know or care about someone and they have a loved one pass away, I do try to attend those things. Ryan Lotan says, I want Peter Skoronski with a 13th pick and a package of Bakhtiari and Rodgers from Green Bay for 2 seconds, another wide receiver in the draft. Good luck to the rest of the NFL. Yeah, could you imagine if we get Bakhtiari and you have Brown coming back and you get to have the hope of Mackay? I like that a lot. But I don't know if I'd want Skoronski, Bakhtiari, and I mean, you're loading up. You're not going to have any offensive line issues, I guess, right? It's possible. Kev Chatta says, Jets talking to Rodgers while we waiting for Pat McAfee show. Yeah, we're watching the Pat McAfee show while the Jets are talking to Rodgers, seeing if we get any cool nuggets. Thomas Coons says, if Rodgers signs, R.I.P. Rex Ryan's wife's feet. I'm not sure I understand what that means. I know the wife's feet thing is such a the foot fetish thing. Oh, maybe Rex will be so fired up that his wife's feet will. That's nasty. Ed Stewart, Skoronski would be a good one. Yeah, a lot of people like Skoronski. Any of the top tackles would be fine with me. Rusty Rages, Talking Rangers podcast, says, I want Paris Johnson Jr. instead of Skoronski. Yeah, could you imagine a situation where we get Paris Johnson Jr. and then you have Luke Weipler, the Ohio State center, and you have the tight end. Maybe you go after the right tackle, the DeJuan Jones character. Whew. Go all in. Go the Ohio State Jets. Seems to be working for him. Manny says, what do you think about Quan's tweet? You think they are not bringing him back? No, I think the Jets had interest in bringing him back, but I think Quan is going to have a higher price tag. We signed him for $1.2 million because a lot of people did not think he was going to stay healthy, and we got the benefit of that perception. This past year, he stayed healthy the entire year. I would imagine he's going to go to the Houston Texans, follow D'Amico Ryans down there, and I think he's going to get a lot more money than we are willing to pay. That would be my guess. I think he's going to Houston. Kev Chata says, if we trade 43 for Rodgers, trade down from 13 to replace 43. Yeah, that's where I'm at too, especially if you wind up getting Bakhtiari. Then the tackle doesn't become quite as needed, and you can slide down a little bit. Jetsmania says, what will the offense look like with Rodgers pass first, because Rodgers and Wilson, or because of Rodgers and Wilson, or keep going with run first because that has worked with Hall, and Hall will be back. Well, I think we're definitely going to pass the ball more, 100%. But I do think we want to rely on our defense and a strong run game when we have to. So ultimately, you want Rodgers to get you the lead using whatever complement of weapons you have to use. And then once you have the lead, then you rely on Breece Hall, the offensive line, and the defense. And I think it's in conjunction. So I think, yes, we're going to pass more, but we're going to try and seal the deal with running the ball the way that Hackett did in Jacksonville and the way Saleh likes to do as well. So more passing, but definitely focusing on the running game still. Blaze T, so if we keep our first, what position are we drafting? I still think offensive line is going to be the popular option for a lot of people. I like safety. I like the idea of trading down and taking a safety, because if you get, this is assuming we get Bakhtiari. If you don't get Bakhtiari and you feel like you need to get your tackle of the future and you don't feel like you can get one of those guys in the second, third, or fourth round that you feel comfortable with, then I would go with the offensive lineman. But, from a value perspective, I really like the idea of trading down, recouping the second that we get back from maybe the Rodgers trade, and then drafting a safety, which is going to be a massive area of need. You might be able to get the best safety on the board. So that would be I like that route. Defensive tackle, I think, is in the conversation, but safety, I feel like, would provide a little bit more from like a we don't have it perspective. Rob V says, I think Addison, Hyatt, and Zay are far and away the best wide receivers in this class. I think Quentin Johnston and Najigba are great college guys, but overrated for the NFL. Quentin Johnson, the knock on him that I've heard is that he's softer and doesn't block as much as you'd like to see him block for a receiver of his size. The other guys are just not the athletic profile that I'm hoping for. I shouldn't say athletic profile, but the height profile. I want a bigger bodied guy. Najigba seems like he's going to be slow, but maybe some of the best guys in the NFL don't necessarily run the fastest of 40s, so maybe you're all right with it. I don't know what Hopkins wound up running, but I know there was comparisons to like DeAndre Hopkins was slower than one of the other guys that ran at the combine. That was like more shocking. So maybe it's not quite as needed and I'm overblowing it. I like the vet receiver market though. Justin Thomas says, y'all think it's hard being a Jets fan. Imagine being a Jets fan in Tennessee. It's rough out. I can't imagine being a Jets fan in Tennessee is overly fun because you don't have a whole lot of Jet fan friends out there. But I would imagine being a Jet fan in Tennessee is a lot better than being a Jet fan in like Boston or something crazy like that. That would suck being up there. I know we got a few of them. You guys wind up tuning in here to see what ends up happening. You try to get some Jet related news instead of all your beat talk coming from Boston radio stations. Eddie says, who is a luxury free agent you would like to have other than Brown? Ooh, that's a fun discussion point. So let's say other than offensive lineman, because I don't see a center out there, and tackle-wise, it would probably be Orlando Brown. A luxury free agent. It might be wide receiver, maybe. I don't see tight end. Actually, you know what? Linebacker. I kind of like Tremaine Edmonds from Buffalo. If you can snag him away from a division rival, that's one of those things that I've always sort of said. Like, that's why J.C. Jackson was high on my list last year. I like when you can weaken a division opponent and strengthen your own side of things while also having that player have a little bit extra juice to go against your division rival. So yeah, I would go with Edmonds from Buffalo. As my luxury. Not that he's a luxury. That would be fitting a need too, but that would be someone I'd really want to look at. Sir Drinks a Lot says, I'm a Jets fan living in Knoxville. Tell me about it. Family Meets World says Dalton Kincaid would feast with Rodgers, would like him in a trade down. Yeah, I like the tight end market in the draft more than I like the wide receiver market. Like, I think there's more value in that level of player coming out. Val says, I actually like Quan Alexander. He could hit. I like Quan. I just don't think he's going to wind up signing here. Peter says, where the heck are we with the Quinnen contract? Are we waiting for something or any guess to a time frame? I think contracts get done with deadlines. That's why we have a trade deadline. That's why we have a free agent deadline. That's why we have all these different deadlines and whatnot. A franchise tag deadline. I think we're going to find out about Quinnen Williams closer to training camp when there's the threat of holding out of mandatory workouts. I do think he ends up holding out of the voluntary stuff. I don't think the Jets sign him for that part. We're going to have this little bit of drama going back and forth, and then ultimately Quinnen will be re-signed by the Jets. Manny Carr, you think Bakhtiari is that much better than Dwayne Brown? No, I don't think he is. But I do think there's a situation where Rodgers wants Bakhtiari to protect his blind side. And I think you could have that argument of needing to bring him in. But I would be fine. If Bakhtiari doesn't come, it would be more so like hedging your bets that Mekhi may not be healthy the whole time. And then you would have Bakhtiari protect the left-hand side, and maybe Dwayne Brown could protect the right-hand side then. Richard says, I think more passing helps the fact we won't need to rely on Breece right away. Yeah, and I also think Bam Knight and Michael Carter help that whole aspect as well. I think you'll probably see Breece get IR'd for the first 4 to 6 weeks, and then he's going to have fresh legs coming in outside of that. So I like that option. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Hopefully he's healthy and we get to see him earlier, but I think they IR him. Kev Chada says, if we trade down to the 20s, how about Darnell Washington? I know it's not a need, but it seems he would be dominant. That's actually a player I really like, more so because of his blocking and his massive size. He might be able to shift to tackle at the NFL level. Like that's the kind of size you're talking about. So if you think you could have that tight end, but maybe he plays like a George Fant role like he did in Seattle, where he was almost like a tight end, but was also a swing tackle. I don't think he's fast enough to like really pull necessarily, but I think he's big enough to protect, a side of the ball. Backy Smacky says, I feel like we already forgot about Max Mitchell. He was pretty damn good when he played. No, I just think you don't bank on him being the starter with the blood clots. I think you hope that he continues to grow. That's the ideal point in the draft, right? Like you want to draft guys that you don't have to start right away. You can have them sit and learn like you had with Jermaine Johnson sitting behind John Franklin Myers and Carl Lawson. Same thing with Michael Clemens. I think you're going to see that type of competition as the preferred route to go now that we have some depth. When the Jets haven't had depth, in years past, Jermaine Johnson would be starting every game for us. Michael Clemens would be starting every game for us. So we are in a better spot now than we've been in the past. So Max Mitchell just has to earn his reps. Rico the Pup says, Johnson seems to have the tools but doesn't always use them. He's 6'4" and can jump through the roof, but won less than 50% of his contested catches. Yeah, he plays softer than his size would indicate. And I've definitely moved off of him because of it. JP says that Bakhtiari would be impossible to move with his contract. And thinking Rodgers would ever get moved for only a second-round pick is lunacy. Sorry, friend. I still hope it gets done today. So let's take a look at Bakhtiari's contract. Rodgers, for a second, feels like the likely situation if there's no one else on him, like in on this trade. So Bakhtiari's contract, he signed a very large signing bonus. So there is a lot of dead cap that moves over with Bakhtiari in that move. He has a $9.5 million bonus that must be paid out on March 17th. So if a trade happens, I think it's going to happen before 17th if Bakhtiari is included in it. As far as a trade pre-June 1st, the Packers would only save $5.7 million, which means they are eating $23 million in dead cap money. And they don't have a tackle. So that's the piece of this that doesn't seem to make sense for me. Like if the Jets wanted to keep Dwayne Brown because we were going to have to pay him anyway, and it didn't make sense to move on from him. Not that you were going to cut him for skill purposes, but in the same respect that you would say, oh, the Jets are only going to save $5 million from Dwayne Brown. Why would you try? You're not going to find a left tackle for $5 million. That's kind of the same thinking with Bakhtiari is $5.7 million. You're not finding a tackle for that amount of money. So I can see a situation where he does not get moved. But I think he would restructure his contract, as JP is mentioning here, to facilitate a trade as well, if he wants to play with Rodgers. AJ says, I'm a Jets fan in Chicago/Indy. It's brutal. Well, especially if you wind up having to see like the winning from Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. And I mean, I guess Chicago and New York are pretty similar in that respect, where they're kind of sort of perpetually underperforming. Rob V says, damn, bunch of Jet fans from out of New York, New Jersey. Yeah, I didn't realize how many Jet fans there were outside of the tri-state area until I started doing the channel, and we started getting phone calls from like, I've gotten people call in from like Argentina. That's really cool. We've seen Ireland, we've seen Japan. I'm trying to think what other ones. New Zealand's in there. I'm sure there's a bunch of other guys there. Jim says, I'm behind enemy lines in Boston. They are so spoiled. Yeah, I want them to be in quarterback purgatory for the next 50 friggin' years. CJ Gardner, Johnson, or Jesse Bates? I like the way CJ plays. So do I. I don't think we're going to go for a high price safety, though, when you can draft the best safety in the draft for cheap. I think that's the route we tend to lean. I would rather go the veteran market with someone like Jimmy Ward or Adrian Amos than going for one of the bigger safeties in free agency. Eddie says, Packers sites talking about a first and a third. How? I think it would be a first and a third if you get Bakhtiari, because then the Packers put themselves in position to draft their new tackle at 13. I think that's the value in what the Packers are trying to do. They're trying to lump guys together to help get that pick a little bit higher. And maybe it's a trade situation. Maybe it's like the Packers give us 15, they get 13, and then they get 2 seconds or something like that. To facilitate the trade, because I do think that there's a possibility the Patriots are going to go with a tackle at 13. What are you guys talking about? Ryan says, chances that James Robinson makes the team in 2023. So he's a free agent. He's a restricted free agent, so you could place some type of tender on him. If you wanted to place the original round tender on him, I don't know what his actual draft position was. I think it was a later round pick. So it wouldn't cost you too much if you think that Brees is going to be IR'd for the first part of the season. I don't know. It didn't seem like they liked Robinson a whole heck of a lot once he got in here, and they may opt to try and bring back like a Ty Johnson for a little bit, or go with an undrafted guy, not give up any cap space. Jason says, why would Jets want Rodgers on at almost max 2 years? Why not go all in for Lamar Jackson, who is super young and can have for many more years? Yeah, well, I think that's the deadline, right? Like we'll know by 4:00 if Lamar Jackson is going to get moved. And then the leverage for the Packers does drop in some capacity because we could be in on the other quarterback. Now, at the same time, I do think Rodgers makes more sense for the Jets because of the Zach Wilson stuff. And I think the amount of picks and the amount of money that you're going to have to give Lamar makes it seem a little less likely. If it's the non-exclusive tag and it's 2 firsts, then I think we're on it. Or if Rodgers says he's not coming to the Jets, then I think maybe we're on it. Rick says, not a peep out of Rodgers yet on the McAfee show. Nope. I haven't seen anything yet. He's talking to Pac-Man Jones right now. They're talking some Lamar Jackson. They're talking, a whole bunch of stuff. I've been kind of focused more on this. So if you see anything on the McAfee show, give me the nod in the chat there. So David Hall says James Robinson was literally a waste of a trade. I disagree. I think the statement that trade made at the time it was made was, hey, we're not giving up. We're going for this playoff run right now. And I think, even though you did not get anything out of James Robinson, that mentality to keep everyone locked in was important to do at the time. And it just didn't work out because of shit quarterback play more than anything else. So I don't think. I think it was a fine trade that just did not work out. G Money says, "Where can I watch the McAfee show?" It's pinned in the live chat. If you go to the live chat, I linked it right there, so you can watch it live if you want to do that. I have it on in the background while we're talking a little Jets here. Ryan Lotan says, hypothetically, if we have to settle on a quarterback like Brissett, would you trade up to around 4 or 5 for Stroud or Levis? If Stroud or Levis is there, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go quarterback this year in the draft. I mean, if one fell to you that was not supposed to, maybe pull the trigger there. But I would not trade up for a quarterback. I would, if you have to go the Brissett route, I would try to bring back Mike White and have Brissett versus White, and then just flat out say Zach Wilson is not playing this year. He is redshirting this season. We are going to get him right mentally, and we're going to reevaluate him afterwards. And I think that is the way you'd have to go. I just don't want to see Zach take more snaps without having that kind of reset. KD says, there's a ton of Jet fans in Ohio. Ohio! What's up, Ali? Ryan, crazy. I know, I saw your post earlier today. I think it was your post. Pretty sure it was your post on Instagram. Excited to see what could happen. Martin says he's in Germany too. Oh, Ed Stewart says he's got Jet fan friends in Detroit. It's nice knowing there's some fans in other parts of the country, and it's not just like the guys that are locked into the tri-state area. I think those fans probably became fans either when Namath was playing, the Sack Exchange was playing, or the Jets went on those championship runs with Sanchez. That's probably where you get the out-of-state fans from, or transplants from the tri-state area. Yeah, so Tigo's saying Robinson was a UDFA, so you'd have the right to hit him with the right of first refusal tender. So yeah, that is the original round. I think that's considered the original round tender, even though it's not. I think it would be like a 7th round pick if you don't match it, I believe. Carlos says, me. Kev Chata, in real time, I hated James Robinson trade when JD only needed to allow Bam up. I think if you allow Bam up, it doesn't send the same statement to the fans and the team. I feel like there's a statement move that's made when you trade a late round pick for Robinson. And it costs you, what is it, a 5% chance of hitting on a player in the 6th round? I think it's a fine trade that just, ultimately we didn't need to work out because of Bam. Eric S. I'm a Jets fan in California, in Los Angeles. I have the best stadium in the world 10 miles away. Hometown team just won the Super Bowl a few years. Don't talk to me about how tough stuff is. Yeah, I mean, at least you got to see some fun in your city. There's no ill will towards the Jets and any of the LA teams, I don't think. So that's probably good. Hopeful Jets fan. I'm a new Jets content creator. Best piece of advice you could give me. Can't wait to work with you one day. Best piece of advice, audio is important. The visual aspect is secondary, and do it because you enjoy doing it. Don't do it because you got some lofty expectations. It's got to be fun first and foremost. But very cool. Fun to have you in the game. David Hall says, if Aaron Rodgers comes here and Zach Wilson still hasn't developed in 2 years, then what a massive disappointment. No, I think the benefit of bringing Rodgers is you have the hope of maybe developing Zach Wilson, but I don't think you necessarily have to do it. I think what you could have is a year of evaluation of Zach Wilson, and then the Jets maybe next year draft the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers or competition, or they bring in someone that they deem as good competition for Zach Wilson for the final year behind the scenes. But yeah, if Zach doesn't develop, I mean, we're deeming him a bust already. So I don't see why there's any. I don't see how there could be massive disappointment in him when there's already massive disappointment in him now. Shren lives in Miami. That's not too bad. There's a lot of New York fans down in Miami. My family lives in Florida now. Xavier says, Jets fan from LA. Rob says, season ticket holder from Toronto, Canada. Go Jets. How does it feel being in America's hat? Rick Fisher. I've been a loyal Jets fan since 1967. It's our time. You've been waiting far too long. Gotta get it. Rafe says, love the jet firing missiles on other teams' animation. Ryan, thank you. This was my original animation this was the original layout to the Monday call-in show that I started, I guess, 4 years ago now. And I started playing around with some stuff. I was like, I'm going to bring it back. Yeah, I had fun with it. And I got the new chicken, too. For those of you guys that haven't hung out in the call-in show, you get the 3-minute timer and then you get ejected. Can you imagine Joe Douglas negotiating tactics, now resorting to, come on, man, yo, you serious? Yeah, maybe Douglas is out there saying, hey, Rodgers, you could be a first ballot Hall of Famer if you sign with the New York Jets. Love it. Green Bean made the point that Mann might be kept because of all of his all-around stats. I think he might be kept just because he's dirt cheap and he's still on a rookie contract. He has a booming leg. I don't know, dude. I've soured a little bit on him with a few of his shanked punts. I think we should bring in competition and allow him to earn his spot as opposed to just giving it to him. Joey says, so how about the Jets get Packers first-round pick with Rodgers and Bakhtiari, the tackle, for a first-round pick and a second-round pick from the Jets? I think we're going to have to give up more than that. I think a second this year and a conditional first next year is what ultimately happens. Rico the Pup says, outside of watching how Rodgers prepares, I'm not sure what people expect Aaron Rodgers to do for Wilson. You guys think he's going to visit with him and work with him through the playbook? LOL, I sure don't. No, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. But remember, Zach Wilson wanted Mike LaFleur, on the sideline with him his rookie year so he could ask questions. So I think at the very least, having all these, voices to be able to talk to, as well as a Hall of Fame quarterback that was your idol and you get to learn how he prepares week in and week out, I don't see any negative in that whatsoever. Not to mention, Rodgers could help teach Zach this new offense that Rodgers has already played in for 3 years at an MVP level. So I like it. TB says, holy crap, McAfee show is boring. I fell asleep. Dude, I'll sit and watch McAfee. I think they're pretty good. Pure adrenaline sports. New chicken is great. I thought so. I thought so. KD says, hey, Ryan, did you make the animations graphics for the channel yourself? Always been impressed since you started. Thank you. Yes, I have made all this stuff myself. A lot of it is learning, and there's a lot of back-end knowledge that goes into creating some of this shit. And I have fun with it, but man, I spend a lot of time outside of what you see on me on camera. Scion says, they quickly replaced Derek Carr for Aaron Rodgers in all their PowerPoints. Yeah, right. Like they have like the little drop file. And like, okay, Rodgers, so you can win right here. A team that wants you here, oh, sorry, that says Raiders. Scrub that out. We're going to put Packers there. Frank says, keep Braden Man. Punters don't get good until they have 4 or 5 years experience. Is that true? I didn't know that. If that's the case, why not? Got to pay him anyway. Diego says, do we have a special teams coordinator? Yeah, isn't it Brant Boyer? Or did we get rid of him? I thought he was here. Socrates, imagine one of Rodgers' conditions to come here as cutting man. Oh, jeez. Rick says, do you think if we sat Zach for 2 years, we'd be having the Rodgers discussion? No, not necessarily. If you sat Zach for 2 years, you'd probably want to see him now. I think the fact that we saw Zach for 2 years lets you say, hey, I don't need to, I'd rather see a vet now. It's always one of those hindsight things, I think. Niall says, any sign of a Rodgers announcement? Just logged in. Not yet. It doesn't seem like he's going to go on the McAfee show, but maybe we'll hear something on the McAfee show from someone else of note. But either way, we're going to sit here and watch it. And I was going to sit here and watch anyway, so talking to you guys just seems like a lot more fun. Ryan Rivera, you seemed very confident the Jets were going to select Gardner. The media said otherwise. Do you have a source within the building? JP, I'm at a loss, Ryan. I watched yesterday. We were after Carr. Signed, you admitted all leverage is with the Packers. Nothing has changed in the last 24 hours. The leverage is not with the Packers because the Jets or the Packers may want to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers, if he says he's staying in Green Bay, I don't think there's anything the Packers can do other than saying, hey, we're not bringing back Bakhtiari, we're not bringing back Cobb, we're not bringing back all the guys you want to play with, and we're going to start Jordan Love. Like, that's the hope. I don't think Rodgers is going to let it get to that point. And I think the Jets know the Packers don't want to pay that $58 million bonus. Rusty rages. Zach should have sat for his rookie season. Yeah, but you don't know that moving in. I mean, I guess the scouts said that. They were saying he needs to sit for 2 years. That, to me, is a bigger indictment. When your scouts are telling you, like, yo, this guy's got to sit, bring in a vet quarterback. I think the Jets were hoping to sell tickets. And now that we've gone the whole rookie quarterback route for the last 15 years or whatever, since 2009? 2008 he was drafted? 2009, I think. Or no, he was drafted in 08 and then went to the playoffs. And I don't know. Losing my mind. George Thomas, if we miss on Rodgers, we move on to Lamar Jackson. Yes, I agree. I think you have to pivot there. Joe Anthony, are you confident the Jets extend Quinnen this offseason? Right now I am. I think it gets done closer to August. I think Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh know the money's made on the trenches. So they're going to focus on offensive line. They're going to focus on defensive line. Now, if there's a situation where, like, if you think you can get a Lamar Jackson and, like, the sticking point is they need a proven player because they don't want a raffle ticket, I think he does become a trade chip, but I don't think that is true. I think they're going to hold on to him, and I think he's going to be a Jet for a long time. I'm like 95% confident he's going to be retained. Rick Fisher, maybe Packers would say something before Rodgers. They could say that. But I think if they say that, it's more likely that Rodgers gets pissed off that they said something and that he's more likely to try and screw them over. So they may allow Rodgers to make any kind of decision. Chop Liver says, who is in Rodgers' inner circle? Who said he is talking to the Jets? It doesn't have to be Rodgers' inner circle when the Jets are talking to him. The nice thing about a two-way conversation is there's another way we can look at it, right? Like, even though people in inner circle, even though there were people not talking about Rodgers' inner circle and you heard reports from Rappaport and Schefter, it's because they had insight from the Packers organization. And I think on this side of things, you could have the Jets internally, people talking or seeing Rodgers in the facility or something. I don't know. I'm not sure who announced it. I haven't seen that video. Confidential Movie Talk says, when we get Rodgers, what ratio of pass run from the offense do you predict? I honestly don't know what it was last year, but I would imagine we'd skew a little bit. I would bet it's probably similar. I guess you look at how Rodgers performed in Green Bay with Hackett. That would be the percentage you probably want to base it off of. But if you're winning, you want to call more runs. So I think we're still going to hope to run the ball a lot more and play that ball control offense, but with the explosive opportunities of having a Rodgers as your quarterback. Rafe says, I think if we miss on Aaron and Lamar, JD will go all in, trade up for a quarterback in the draft, but I definitely think we're getting Aaron. Yeah, I think we're getting Aaron. I don't see us trading up. I would be very surprised if that happened. Ryan Rivera. Ryan, what's your confidence level in Rodgers agreeing to move to the New York Jets? You seem pretty confident. Yeah, I think he's got $110 million to want to be here, and I think it's likely he does wind up coming over here. I just hope he's bought in for the whole season. Like, I want him to guarantee us that he's going to go to all the offseason programs. He's going to put in the work with the young wide receivers that he did not put in the work with last year in Green Bay. Hopefully Rodgers sees that as maybe why they did not get to the playoffs last year, and maybe that's the trigger. But I'm pretty confident. I've been pretty confident for a while that Rodgers is going to be here. It just seems like it makes way too much sense in Zach's camp, in Rodgers' camp, in the Jets' camp, in the Packers' camp. Like it's very rarely do you see a situation where like so many people win. So I think it looks good. I think it looks likely. Rico, the bomb-dropping Belichick animation is great. Yeah, that one was fun to make. I enjoyed that. Duncan says, let's say we lose in the AFC Championship game in 2023 and in the second round in 2024. Do we move on from Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh? Is it Super Bowl or start over? No. If the Jets make the championship game and then we make the playoffs the following year with Rodgers, I think there's a possibility that Rodgers does continue playing based on how he feels the team is structured at that point and if they think they continue winning. But I don't think Douglas and Saleh are gone. I think they'll get another crack at a quarterback if you get that level of success. And I think they should get that. George Thomas, I can't play this waiting game anymore. I feel for Packers fans. Yeah, well, that's the issue, right? Like, if we get Aaron Rodgers, we're going to have to deal with this bullshit year in and year out for the next 2 years. I don't like that. Xavier Poe, do you think we re-sign Huff? I think we hit him with a tender. Tigo seems to think maybe the second round tender. I was hoping the first round tender, but if you think Huff might have been a 1 year flash in the pan and you want to retain Lawson maybe at a cheaper contract, maybe you do that and you try to bait someone into the second round pick for Huff. But I would keep him here. Joe Anthony, not Jets related, but Mets or Yankees. I'm not a baseball fan. I enjoy going to games. I've been to more Yankee games because of my location more than I have Met games. I grew up a Met fan with my dad. I do tend to consider myself more of a Yankee fan, but I really don't watch baseball. So I'm a New York fan through and through. It's down the middle of the road, so sorry about that. David Hall, just imagine if we would have lost every game in 2020, wouldn't have this conversation right now. Trevor Lawrence would have been our long-term answer, but we all know that will never happen. Yeah, if you go back and watch that stream right after the Rams game, I was distraught. I knew what that win meant at that time, and I am still burnt over that. Making that tackle, when I saw him break free, and it was just Braden Mann, I was like, oh my God, we have a shot. It's like, he's going to score, thank God. And then Mann makes the tackle. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You just cost us our quarterback. I was so burnt. I was so mad. And we're going to live in that shadow the rest of our Jet careers if we don't get a quarterback, because we're living in that shadow with Peyton Manning, not coming out of school and going back to school instead of going to the Jets at number one. That shit sucks. Schluck, would you trade a first and 2/3 for Hopkins? No, I would not. I wouldn't trade 2/3 for Hopkins. I would trade 1/3 for Hopkins because I think he wants a new contract, and I think Arizona is selling. Brandon says, what do you think about Jordan Love if Rodgers stays in Green Bay? I can see it now. All you need is Love. I wouldn't hate it because I think that provides you the same 2 years of evaluation with the benefit of having two quarterbacks to evaluate. My only issue is I don't know if that means your expectation levels have to drop drastically. I I think you hope for playoffs at that point, but based on what you've seen from Love, it's only been like a game in like mop-up duty, so he may stink. Who knows? I wouldn't hate Love. I would probably try to go for Lamar Jackson before trading for Love, but if Jackson goes elsewhere, then maybe I go back and consider Love. Kev Chatta says, Anthony Richardson can be Justin Fields with a mean streak. I really like Anthony Richardson a lot. I liked Fields coming out too. I think Fields in the NFL scares me a little bit more, where like Richardson, I don't know what he's going to be in the NFL. I know he's not really a thrower right now, so just kind of, build up the rest of the team, let him learn. I think he winds up going to Seattle. Anthony Richardson will. Rick, do you think Rodgers would have any issues living in New Jersey? I grew up there and enjoyed it. No, I think he'll be fine. The area he would be living in New Jersey is a very, I would say, aligns more with maybe his perceived politics too. Like there's a really strong, suburban area in New Jersey. Like he's not going to live in the city. He's not going to live in like, Newark or any of those like busier areas of New Jersey. He'll live in the suburbs. I think he'll enjoy it. And then he gets the benefit of being able to go into the city and see his girlfriend and do all that good stuff. So I think he'll be fine living here. New Jersey's a really nice area. I think the taxes are probably the issue with him in any capacity. Maybe Woody says, don't you worry, I'll slide 11 million, which is the taxed amount going to a non-income tax state, under the table to you as a thank you for signing here. Howie says, Rodgers doesn't put in extra work, which is my issue with him. I would change my mind on him if he actually showed working with the young kids. The next offseason will suck. Waiting with Rodgers retiring, still crushed about yesterday with the Carr news, go Jets. I don't think you trade for Rodgers unless he's buying in. You need him to be all in to justify the amount of money you're going to have to pay him. I would be... I was upset with the Carr news more so because I wanted him as our option too in the event Rodgers does fall through. Now we don't have that safety net, and it's a little scary. Red John says, unlike Carr, I think A-Rod will welcome the AFC competition. He wants to show Mahomes and the rest he still has it. Yeah, I can see him having that type of like no bullshit mentality. I hope so, at least. We're going to need it. Confidential Movie Talk says, with Rodgers, I see 1,000 yards for Garrett and Elijah and 10-plus touchdowns from either Conklin or Uzama. I could see that. I could definitely see that. It depends how much we're able to run, because if our defense keeps games low scoring, we may not have to pass quite as much. But I agree. I think we see 1,000 yards from both those receivers. And then I'd love to get 10 touchdowns from a tight end. I don't know if that's realistic given the amount of weapons we do have. I hope so. Ryan says, if the New York Jets go ahead and trade for Rodgers, but keep pick 13, do they trade for a veteran or draft a player? I think they trade down and accumulate more picks, but I would be open to trading that pick for a player if it were the right one. I just don't know if there's that player out there that would require the number 13 overall pick to go get. At least I'm not aware of that person. Murag says, prediction on trade package needed to get Rodgers deal done. I think it's going to be a second this year and a conditional first next year. It's going to be like a third-round pick at minimum if Rodgers plays next year. Like if he's on the roster at the start of the new league year, Jets will give up a third. If the Jets have made the playoffs this year and then they maybe they get a second round pick if he plays next year. And then I think if the Jets make like the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, then it becomes a first round pick. And I'm fine with that because you're talking about pick 28 to have a realistic Super Bowl run. And I'm good with that. Ant Jets celebrates 23 months of membership. Says, Ryan, congrats on 25,000 subs. Oh, did I hit it? Yeah. Cool. I didn't know that. I knew it was getting close. I don't know if I'm actually there yet, but cool. Awesome. You're the first one to thank me, or congratulate me. So thank you for that. Nice little milestone. Ed Stewart says he better be wearing Namath's number. Yeah, I think if Rodgers comes here, he's going to wear Namath's number, and I think the Jets will have like some type of, sort of thing, like a ceremony or something like that. I could even see them announcing the Rodgers sign by like Joe Namath opening up the box and like having Rodgers like embroidered across the top of a 12 white Jet jersey. Oh, I'd nut in my pants. That would be so fucking great. Oh, sorry. This is what happens when you've been, we'll say, on the edge for so long. Oh, Jesus, Christmas. James says, if we get Rodgers, do you think Joe Douglas shifts his free agent strategy? Free agency is around the corner, and Aaron Rodgers could suggest we are bringing in vets at any position in need. Yes, I agree. I think that is why we are not negotiating with our current free agents on our team. Like, I think the Jets are going to get the quarterback, and as soon as they get the quarterback, it'll be like, hey, we are going all in for a Super Bowl. Let's restructure whoever wants to restructure. Let's get out whoever wants to go, get money hungry. By all accounts, I would say the Jets should change their strategy, and it should lower cap hits for guys that we wanted to retain, mainly C.J. Mosley. Maybe you get a restructured John Franklin Myers, keep him for 2 years for the Super Bowl run, then allow him to walk. I like the idea of like maxing out our cap these next 2 years and allowing players that might be good, maybe like an Elijah Moore, maybe a Mekhi Becton, something like that, allowing them to walk after the Super Bowl, 2 years possibly, or attempted Super Bowl. Because then you start getting those comp picks. We're almost getting to that point in our franchise's growth right now where you are going to start re-signing Quinnen Williams. You're going to have to re-sign AVT, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner. So you're going to allow certain players to walk and sign contracts. And I think Elijah Moore can net a pretty nice contract after playing with Aaron Rodgers. I think the strategy changes with a veteran quarterback for sure. Henderson says, Green Bay asking for one number one and Sauce. Yeah, get out of here. I'm not even giving him number one for Rodgers. Benjamin says, for Rodgers, you think we trade one of our players in lieu of one of the picks? If we did, who? Benjamin's a North Carolina Jets fan. I would say if the Jets were to trade a player in conjunction with getting Rodgers, I think that player would be Mekhi Becton. And that's because I think Bakhtiari would be coming over in the trade more so than anything else. But I think the Packers want the picks more so than anything else. But if they want like Carl Lawson or one of the guys that we are thinking about cutting, like Corey Davis, like any of those types of players, I would absolutely throw them that way. Hopeful Jets fan, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, who says no. I'm not trading for Derrick Henry. Juju, thank you. Rick says, I pray Rodgers does sign with us. It doesn't turn into another Favre disaster. Jets were first in the AFC before Rodgers got hurt. I would gladly take that because I think if the Jets had made the playoffs and it really made like a good push, I think Favre would have come back. I think the bullshit going on with the media and him probably sending dick pics probably did not help the whole situation and him wanting to return. Kev Chattis says, before Carr signing, it was reported Joe Douglas wanted Packers to take some of the Rodgers money. Now Joe Douglas should forget about that and keep more of our picks. Yeah, I would prefer to take on more of the cap hit and like give up less in picks. We'll see. Dax says, Becton is looking good. I'm 50-50 on if we get our hopes up. Well, I think you pencil him in as the starter for right tackle for right now. He's going to have to earn it and stay healthy. And I think if he is healthy, he'll wind up being good enough to be that right tackle. I would say that I'm penciling him in as a starter. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing it because I would have Max Mitchell waiting in the wings. I would still take a tackle. Even if you don't take one at 13, I would have one in the mid rounds that you do like that could, ultimately be a replacement for maybe a Dwayne Brown or a Mekhi Becton in the event he doesn't work out either. Salmon Jets. Did Rodgers show up? He did not. Still going. I don't think he's going to wind up being on the McAfee show, but maybe we'll hear something about it. Tigo says, Vegas knows something. Super Bowl odds just dropped another 200 points. Is that true, and what are the odds? Because last odds I saw were plus 1,800 for the New York Jets, and I bet on it at plus 2,500 yesterday. But DraftKings still has it at plus 2,500. At least they did when I was looking at it earlier today. Tragic Artist says, you're the man of the people. You actually did the live stream. Love your content. You're great at what you do. Keep it up. Thank you. I really enjoy, I like talking Jets. My wife is going to kill me if I talk Jets to her anymore. So I got to get on the internet and just ramble to you guys. Yeah, I figured this is a goofy enough live stream and goofy enough situation going on that who knows, maybe we'll get some good news from here. Moose City, thank you for the super chat, says, so we trade 43 in a conditional first next year for Rodgers. Are you trading down at 13? Yes, I would like to trade down. I think it depends on how comfortable they feel with the offensive line at that point and their evaluation on some of the mid to later first round tackles. I would love to move back, recoup a second, and then at the back end of the first, you have the decision you can make of drafting John Michael Schmitz, which I think that would be an over selection. I think he should be drafted in the second round, but I think if you want the 5-year rookie contract and you have already traded down and recouped a second, I would be okay with making that type of reach of a selection there. The other option I really would be cool with getting the top safety in this class in a trade down and still getting a center in the second round with the trade down. I think that the Jets have a few different options at center. There's like 4 or 5 centers that I really like in this draft, so I don't feel the need to necessarily reach on John Michael Schmitz, but I think he's the safest option, and we've seen him enough over his career that it wouldn't be a bad decision if they wanted to do it. I would have been on board with a center last year. I wanted, everyone said Linderbaum for a while. That would have been cool. I wanted the kid from Boston College, Zion Johnson, because he could play guard and center. That's almost what I hope for the Jets to try and target. Oh, man. Tigo says plus 1,600. Euphoria saying, though, the Jets are still plus 2,500 on DraftKings. So if Vegas is putting us at plus 1,600, maybe there's a chance to cash out on DraftKings. I don't know. I bet $100 on DraftKings yesterday at plus 2,500, and immediately after there was a cash out for $45. So I was like, all right, if the odds drop, does it get above my $100 that went in? Screw it. I don't care. I'm burning that money right now, and we're going to roll the dice. I almost thought maybe we'll do a live stream, and whatever super chats we get we'll all go into Jets winning the Super Bowl, and we'll get some astronomically crazy odds and some silly amount of money that no one should probably bet on the Jets winning the Super Bowl on. But I thought about doing that for a little bit. I'd probably get whacked with taxes. I don't know if I want to do that. It would be fun, though. See what that number winds up looking like. Tigo says, John Michael Schmitz in the bottom of the first is so worth it, not a reach in my opinion. Yeah, I think that 5th year option is why too. And he may not necessarily make it to pick 43 if enough people like how he performed at the Senior Bowl and whatnot. Youthphoria says, but we have the second best odds to win the AFC East. Yeah, I think Buffalo should be the favorite to win right now. Until someone unseats them, they have to be. And I think Miami with a healthy two is gonna be pretty tough too. Rick Fisher says, is Corey Davis the odd man out due to our receiver depth? I think because of his contract and how much we save on him, he's the odd man out. Now, if the Jets like Corey Davis and Rodgers likes Corey Davis and they want to restructure him and maybe make him a contract offer that gives him money over 2 years and it lowers his cap hit this year and he has a lower cap hit next year because he wants to go for a Super Bowl and he thinks he could perform well with Rodgers and maybe cash in on contract after that, I would be okay with it. I think Berrios is probably gone if Rodgers gets here because I think we bring back Cobb. Not bring back Cobb, but I think Cobb does come. I would be surprised if Corey Davis was on the roster next year. I wouldn't hate it, but I would be a little surprised, I think. Youthforia says Bills are plus 100 to win the division. Jets plus 310. Miami plus 400. New England plus 600. It is nice to feel like New England is probably on the back burners now. Edward Stewart says, exactly, Ryan, on guard and center time to get those positions taken care of as well. Yeah, I think if you get a guard or center, it kind of allows you the flexibility in the event that Tomlinson is not going to perform well. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see Corey Linsley get cut from the Chargers, because if you could bring in Linsley as the center that Rodgers trusts, who he played with in Green Bay for all those years, I would love to see him come in, and then the Jets maybe go with that guard center hybrid in like the 3rd or 4th round, let him be the guard in place of Tomlinson for a little bit, and then replace Linsley in a few years. I'd be fine with that. Alex Robson says, felt that wife will kill me if I talk any more Jets. I'm literally getting married in 2 days, and I'm more worried about the quarterback search than my wedding to the love of my life. She's slightly pissed. Oh, dude, Alex, I completely understand that. I told my wife one time, I had a friend who had the opportunity to go to the to go to the Super Bowl at MetLife. He had tickets through his job, and his girlfriend at the time, was not fiance, they are married now, said, you cannot go to that. That would have been, sorry, out the door. You're telling me I can't go to the only Super Bowl in New York? Yeah, go pound sand, lady. Becca's been a good sport. She listens to all my bullshit. she listens. She puts up. A lot of times she'll nod. I gave her this one thing the other day where she said something to me, and I was busy. I'm looking at like Twitter. I'm looking at like the Jet forums trying to see what's going on. And she's saying, "Oh, so what do you want to have for dinner?" And I'm like, "Yep. Oh, so you like that?" And I said, And she said, "So what's your answer?" I was like, oh, shit. I was really banking on you not needing a response there. And now that's kind of our thing going back and forth. If I don't catch something or I say something to her and she says, oh, sorry, I didn't think you were expecting an actual response. Side note, fun story. When I was getting married 2 years ago, so what was that, 2021, I'm standing in line waiting to go out for the ceremony. And the line stretches into the lobby of the venue that we were at. And I'm in my suit, and I got all my buddies, my groomsmen and everything right there. And someone pops in to the line and says, oh my God, you're Jets Talk. And I was like, whoa. I'm looking around at my groomsmen. I was like, who the hell put you up to this? Someone did that. But no, some kid was like staying at the resort and was like, holy hell, I just ran into you. I was like, well, can I get a picture? I was like, I'm about to get married. Sure. Why not? Like, yeah, I'll take a picture. I had fun with it. That was pretty special. But yeah, the wife's gonna kill me if I talk more Jets. I feel like a lot of Jet fans probably feel similarly with their wives. Lukey says, congrats on 25,000 subs. Thank you. You, Matt and Green Bean, do excellent work. I love working with Matt and Green Bean. They are two of my best friends. I really, really enjoy them. If you had told me 4 years ago that we'd continue doing this, I'd be so grateful. I mean, they're honestly, I talk to them all the time. I really, really love them. Jermonster says, what do you think the Jets' record is when all is said and done on the Rodgers trade? If the Jets get Rodgers, I'm predicting 13 wins. Duncan says, Zach is plus 20,000 for MVP. Better throw $1 on that. See what happens. Why not? Logan says, I want Rodgers or Lamar. Yep, that's where I am. Euphoria says, I wonder if Rodgers comes if Zach Wilson is still going to give him hell. I swear, this kid has no media talk. The nice thing is, if Rodgers comes, we won't have to necessarily see Zach in front of a camera for a little while. That'd be kind of nice. Could you practice squad Zach Wilson? Is that a thing? Like, because you can protect players on the practice squad. I don't know how long you can protect them. That would be weird if they were like, hey, yeah, redshirt. Like, we're not even going to discuss Zach. Like, he's just away. Maybe. Ed Stewart says, Ryan, my wife gave up when I'm doing Jet stuff. Yeah, she's kind of, forgiven me now that, like, I bought her an iPhone last year. That was a nice little thing. I was like, hey, you could be my HR director. If I'm going to say something stupid online, I want you to tell me I shouldn't say that. And she's just like, I love you. I was like, I'm back in her good graces. Confidential Movie Talk says, thoughts on Jawan in free agency. Jawan. Who's Jawan? What am I missing here? Jawan. I don't know who that is. Let me know. My brain's cooked. Raymond, whoever that friend is whose wife said no is a real piece of work. He didn't go to the Super Bowl. And he's married to her. I was like, oh, what are you doing? Dude, I'm having a mental crisis right now because the Hall of Fame induction stuff is going on while I'm going to be in Ireland with my best friends and my family in a country I've always wanted to go to. So, like, I would be devastated if I had tickets to go to a Super Bowl, especially if the Jets weren't playing. Like, I think I would prefer to go to a Super Bowl the Jets were not playing in more than a Super Bowl that the Jets are actually playing in, because I feel like the Super Bowl is meant for TV anyway. Yeah, that would be rough. Scott Wilson says, I think we are keeping number 13, taking Branch to give Rodgers not only a top 5 defense, but a historical defense. I'd be cool with Branch. I've heard a lot of reports that Branch might be a nickel corner, though, and I don't love that. I would rather go Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M if that is true, that scouts are thinking he's going to be a nickel at the next level. I like Branch a lot. I'd be good with him or Antonio Johnson. I'd be good with Battle. Imagine having some Battle sauce in the background. Psh, love it. Friday Jones says, I would hate to give up on any draft capital for 1 year of a Rodgers rental. Oh, dude, if I could give a second-round pick to have a crack at a Super Bowl this year, and it's just a second-round pick, I'm doing it all day. I'll give up a second-round pick for potentially 45 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Jets can win a Super Bowl with that. Miles, what's good, dude? Glad to have you in here. I'm doing all right. Having a little bit of coffee. Trying to keep myself awake here. George asking, where are we on news? Right now, the most recent news we have is that the Jets are officially talking with Aaron Rodgers, and it's going into today. And I guess the Jets released something about, talking to Aaron Rodgers as well. Benjamin says, would you trade Los Angeles for Allen Robinson? What's his contract? Let's see what his contract is. My gut reaction right now is no, without looking at what it might cost. So he has $15 million in guaranteed salary remaining. If you trade for him, it would be a $15.3 million cap hit this year and a $15.7 million cap hit next year. I don't think so. I would say no. 30. He's on the wrong side of 30. I would pass on Allen Robinson at this point in time. I think there's enough other wide receivers that intrigue me. Like, I know New York fans have some PTSD with watching the antics that went on with Odell Beckham Jr. in as a Giant, but man, I would love to sign Odell. I think he's really good. 1 year of explosive Odell would be a lot of fun. If you could get a Mike Evans for a reasonable price, I would consider that. I like the veteran wide receiver market. I think 30 might be, at least for him in particular, Robinson. I'd rather like a 28, 29-year-old in Mike Evans who has a bigger profile, go up and get it kind of guy. Robinson, I'm probably out on based on his contract numbers. Mobiles! Congrats on 25,000 subs. Thank you. Much appreciated. Every time I hear them go, whoa, on the McAfee show, I'm like, looking up, squirrel. What's going on? Tigo says Branch is more of a box nickel. I love him as a player, just not for the Jets. Fungus Among Us says Rodgers might pursue the Jets to prove he could win, could give a Super Bowl to us, and Favre couldn't. Yeah, that's like the little bit of like, okay, Favre couldn't do it here. So yes, you're following in his footsteps, but are you actually? Because you are probably going to make it to the playoffs. You're going to break a record. You're probably going to break all our passing records, if I had to guess, because he's going to have more than 4,000 yards. He should have more than 30 touchdowns, given our offense. And if he wins a Super Bowl here, like Rodgers, if he won a Super Bowl in any of the other 31 cities or with any one of the other 31 teams, and he has 2 Super Bowls to his name, I don't think we're talking about Rodgers more as like an elevated on his rank by having that second Super Bowl win. But if he wins one in New York, he will be the Packer quarterback that won a Super Bowl in New York. That will be his, it'll be wow. He'll have a statue out front of MetLife if he wins a Super Bowl here. And he will be a Jet quarterback before he's a Green Bay quarterback. The Super Bowl that he wins here with us will mean more to our city than the Super Bowl he won in Green Bay, because Green Bay has those other rings involved as well. Now, obviously, his first Super Bowl with Green Bay will probably be more of an emotional thing because it's him, clearly being, winning his first one. Now, what part of Ireland are you going to, dude? I don't know. We booked an Airbnb like 6 months ago, so if I do some research, I'll be able to figure it out. Hopefully somewhere cool. I want to be somewhere near the Blarney Stone because I want to at least see it. I don't know. I'll let you know once I have a little bit more thoughts on what's going on. Maybe we'll do something, meet up with some Ireland Jet fan people out there in some capacity. Lukey says, don't know about Jimmy G or Lamar Jackson. Lamar is pretty good thrower. Also, Ryan, you should take Garrett Wilson in fantasy football if you have your own league. I did my own league in Sleeper this year. I get so spread thin on like the fantasy football leagues that I'm in though, and like having to run the golf course because like September, October is our busiest season for outings. So I'm like not as active as I need to be on it. But Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Elijah Moore, those 3 guys, and Aaron Rodgers, potentially, if he winds up coming here, are going to be, 4 players that the Jet fans could draft in a fantasy league and feel pretty good about. And then maybe you have Carter or Bam Knight as your handcuff for Breece Hall in the back. It makes me feel good that people want to draft Jet players now. Volcano, the sweat. If you guys get Aaron Rodgers, you guys are Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, I agree. I think as you see the Vegas odds jump up, that will, I think, become evident. Most people feel like the Jets were just a quarterback away last year, and that's where I feel. I feel like if you had below average quarterback play last season, I think the Jets at least make the playoffs, possibly winning the AFC East as well. RC3. If we get Rivers, I would be sick. I wonder I don't even know where Rivers would rank on my list of potential places, but man, I really hope he's not a realistic option for us. Sergeant says, get drunk in Dublin, then go to Galloway. Ireland's awesome. I'll put that on the list. Imagine if Ryan meets Irish Ryan over there. That'd be cool. Apparently, my last name, when it came over for Ellis Island, it used to be O'Dublichet. I thought that was a cool name, but I guess they jacked it up and it became Delaney. Don't know how they got that, but that's what I've been told. Rick says, go to the Guinness Brewery at St. James Gate. You'll love it. Yeah, I would have to imagine Guinness has got to be on our list if we go over there. I can't go to Ireland and not try to have a freshly poured Guinness and get certified in being a Guinness pourer. That would make me feel good. How do you feel about Keenan Allen on a 1 or 2 year deal? I like Keenan Allen. I don't know why they'd be getting rid of him, though. But yeah, he's someone I would like. Rusty Rages. So we are cutting Davis and Berrios, more than likely. If that's the case, I'd like the Jets to draft Jackson Smith-Njigba with the 13th pick. He's just as good, if not better than Garrett Wilson. He would fit nicely in the slot. But isn't that like where we're trying to put Elijah Moore? Like we've tried the whole Elijah Moore on the outside, and like I don't want to duplicate that. Now, if there's a situation where we're going to run 4 wide and you need 2 slots, okay, that's fine. But if you want to bring in Cobb, now you're running into that same sort of situation where you want to have, someone who's a little bit bigger than Smith-Njigba on the outside. He's what, 6 foot, 6'1"? I mean, it's bigger in relation to like Elijah Moore and a Braxton Berrios, I guess. his speed worries me. I know he's good and his route running is so crisp. I don't know what it is about him. He doesn't scream to me like, I don't know. I feel like the NFL defense, they're going to be able to keep up with him. I could be wrong, though. I hope I'm wrong. He seems like a good guy. Ryan, if he comes here, wears number 12, and wins a Super Bowl, he will instantly be remembered for life. I have been a lifelong Jet fan for 54 years and have suffered. Yeah, well, that's just it, right? Like, I think there's so much magic in lifting the 12 curse from Namath handing over the jersey, winning the Super Bowl. He'll have a statue built out front with Namath and all that good stuff. I hope so, at least. Remember Mom telling me when Bart Starr tried to pick her up at the Dearborn townhouse, big dance club hangout for the famous celebrities back in the 60s and 70s, Mom said, who is Bart Starr? That's pretty cool. I know someone who was in a hot tub with Lawrence Taylor. I don't know what activities wound up happening then, but this was during the height of Taylor's career at the time. Sergeant Svetgo says, looking studious today, Ryan. Yeah, decided to drop the glasses on. First time on stream with those. See how those work. Benjamin says, thoughts on Broderick Jones? Seems like a steal if we trade down. I think he's going to go higher than people think. I've seen people talk about him in like the mid-20s. I don't see how he gets past the Jets. I really don't. I think he's the best tackle in the draft. I know people are talking Skoronski, and I know they're talking about Paris Johnson Jr. I'm fine with either one of them, but when you have a Georgia guy that's used to playing against the strongest competition in college football, and he's being compared to DeBrickashaw Ferguson, I like Broderick Jones, and I would prefer he not go later than us. But if you think you can get him later, trade down. Why not? Bino says, McAfee said yesterday Smith-Njigba has the best hands ever. He looked really crisp in his route, like his route running and the straight line drill where he has to catch balls on either side while still staying straight. He's an interesting player that's just not explosive. There's a reason he did not run his 40-yard dash, and it's because I think he was going to run in the high 4.5s, and that would have done far more damage to his draft stock than not running and then maybe running one at his pro day, or maybe even not running a 40 at all. There's no reason for him to run a 40 if he's the perceived top wide receiver out there. Moose City! Thank you for the super chat, dude. He says, if we get Aaron Rodgers, we are cutting Davis and Berrios, signing Cobb and Lazard, having a wide receiver core of Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Mims, Cobb, and Lazard. Yeah, I think that is possible. I would say Lazard is the one that I don't feel as confident in because of him not getting a big contract yet. If he thinks this is his best shot to get $15, $16 million a year, then I would let him go out and get that somewhere else, and I would not bring him in. If he's willing to come back on like the Corey Davis contract that we're going to save, and it's like you can get Cobb and Lazard for less than the savings of Berrios and Davis, then I'm on board with it. I don't want to spend more on Lazard. Like, I don't want to give up Berrios. I guess the conversation would be if you get 10.5 from Corey Davis and you get 5 from Berrios, that gives you $15.5 million to play with to maybe replace a backup slot and maybe to replace someone like Corey Davis. So if you can get Cobb and Lazard for that same amount of money, would you do it? I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't do it for Lazard. I'll be honest. I would much prefer. I would prefer him go elsewhere, and the Jets try to target maybe someone a little more dynamic than Lazard. I don't think he's ever had more than 700 yards too, and I don't think that's worth the amount of money he's going to want to get. But I do think that is a very likely outcome to our wide receiver room, and I think it's rock solid as well. Greg says he's had season tickets for 2 years, both for the Rich Kotite years. After the last game we lost to the Saints 6-9, the day after the Giants' famous snowball game, I moved to Atlanta, and 2 weeks later we hired Bill Parcells. For me, let's just start with winning. Start with making the playoffs. Sorry. My little pop-up come up here. Yeah, that's brutal. I remember, so we had season tickets, I believe, starting in 94 or 95 when my dad and I started going. And I remember sitting there through like the cold weather. I remember spilling hot chocolate on my lap. We were second to last row in section 327, all the way up at up on the nosebleeds, almost with our backs to the concrete. The guys that we were real good friends with had their backs to the concrete, so I sat in those seats plenty of times. But yeah, dude, I sat through some of those bad seasons, and my dad was like salty. He was not feeling so great with how the Jets were doing at that point. Is McAfee the best sports reporting show out there? I like McAfee. To me, is a very fun way to learn about sports because it's the dynamic I really enjoy about this channel, as far as like the loose, laid back situations and the conversations that pop up. The only difference is, well, not the only difference. I mean, clearly he's got a much bigger budget. He has way more inside knowledge than I could ever have. But I like the loose hangout nature of guys talking sports. Like if I could have some people talking sports in my my couch, I'd mount cameras all the way around. We'd do something similar. But I like McAfee a lot. I enjoy watching McAfee more than I like watching, a lot of other programming for sports content. I usually have Good Morning Football on. I like them too. But man, Kay Adams left. That was my girl. Second girl, third girl, fourth girl. The dog counts too. Rusty Rages says, non-Jets question. Do you think the Giants placed a non-exclusive tag on Daniel Jones? Yes, I do. I don't think they're going to hit him with the exclusive tag because I think if a team is willing to give up 2 first-round picks, I think 100% chance they'll let Jones go for 2 firsts. If they can't get a contract that they deem reasonable. Like I think another team may not want to give up the $40 million a year contract and the 2 first-round picks for Jones. Like I know I wouldn't want to do that. I would give up the $40 million a year contract for just Jones if we didn't have to give up the picks, or I would give up the picks if it were a cheaper contract. But I think it makes sense for the Giants to hit him with the non-exclusive tag. That's what I would do. And I wouldn't want to lose him if I were the Giants. Although if you did lose him and you now got 2 first-round picks, I would flip those picks to try and go get Lamar. That would be the move. Oh, they're talking Rodgers now? Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, Jason says, believe Ryan Kenobi. Aaron will be a Jet by tonight. Douglas wields the power of the fan base, and I have found a vision in his faith. Yeah, dude. Fingers crossed. Dane O says, with Aaron Rodgers, hope we ease Brees into it. Need him in January. Yeah, I would IR Brees Hall. I would put him on IR for 4 to 6 weeks and let him really heal up. We shall see. I'm turning on this up a little bit more. Sorry, guys. What does AJ know?
I don't know anything on this front. I mean, it seems like every year at this time, something like this is coming up, and you guys think I know all this. And we have come to find out.
AJ Hawk says he doesn't know anything.
Well, we know he's talking to the Jets. Do the Packers want him back? That's my question. Like, how bad do the Packers want him back?
Well, they just said you can go ahead and talk to the Jets. So is that an indicator?
I think it's an indicator. AJ Hawk's basically. So what's going on is AJ Hawk says, how much do the Packers want Rodgers back? And McAfee's saying like, oh, well, clearly if the Packers are allowing him to talk to the Jets, they don't want him back. And I think that checks out for me.
It's a movie, right? Isn't it a movie? Hall pass. There you go.
Calling it a movie hall pass. All right, I'm going to have that going on in the background. Can you not show the show on stream? I don't think I can show it on stream. I'm pretty sure I can't. Well, at least for the duration I'd want to, right? Like the duration I'd want to. If Rodgers does go on the show, he's usually on for a half hour to an hour, just talking and hanging out. Where if I put that on stream, they may pull the whole stream down from here if I do that. With the draft, when I show everything going on, I do it for such a short period of time. But oddly enough, I don't get any... I get hit with copyright stuff when I show that sort of stuff. So it's me sacrificing like any kind of financial gain to do that, which for the draft I have fun with, and I don't mind doing that. But yeah, I can't show it actually on screen. But the link is in the live chat. So if you guys do want to watch the Pat McAfee show, just click on the link in the live chat. It's pinned comment, and you can watch it with me in real time. I'm on YouTube TV. Actually, it wouldn't matter. Not YouTube TV. I'm on YouTube because this is only on YouTube. I'm thinking it's a cable thing.
And doesn't want to play still. Like, that's all.
All right. I'll keep an ear to it.
If he's able to seek a trade, though, that would mean that he's decided he wants to play. Right. Yeah. I know nothing.
Maybe not though.
So yeah, if Rodgers has been allowed to seek a trade, that means he plans on playing. That's what they're kind of talking about. I would think so. 100 miles an hour says, yeah, I expect them to move Diggs. He's gonna be 31, and I see them drafting a wide receiver in round 1. I think you're talking about the Bills, right? And trying to build up a new wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. Oh, there you go. Maybe using the picks they get for Diggs to get one of these crazy tight ends. Yeah, I think Allen would benefit greatly from having a monster tight end. Now, Dawson Knox is there, so they're going to have some fun with that. But I think they're going to have to get a wide receiver, and there's going to be a bunch of players that are going to want to play with Josh Allen. I'm curious to see if Diggs wants to restructure and stay there. What does his contract actually look like? All right, so Diggs' contract, oof. I guess they can trade him. They're going to eat a big dead cap hit, though. Yeah, they would eat 17. I don't think they can trade him. I don't think the Bills can move on from Diggs. Maybe they restructure him to drop his cap hits. His cap hits are like $20 million and then 26 the next few years. I think he's in Buffalo this year. It's interesting, though. Citybird, any chance Jameis can be Geno? Yeah, I think so. There's a reason why Jameis went number 1 overall. He's exciting. It's the head on his shoulders that is the part I don't like. Can you turn it up more so we can hear? I don't know. Can I?
This is like the perfect setup.
Can you guys hear that?
You got a young roster that's very talented.
Let me know if you can hear that.
The veteran quarterback can kind of go in and do your thing. Once quarterback has to get paid, and once all these guys, Sauce is a guy. Yeah. Pro Bowl.
Jameis Winston is injury prone. Yeah, I don't like the head case that is Jameis. Oh, you guys can hear it. Kind of hear.
At some point, and then you won't be able to afford, or the quarterback will get paid.
All right, we'll see. Hopefully I don't get this yanked down. If it gets yanked down, I could be in trouble.
They're the only team that we've heard
We'll see.
from the Packers, because conversation with maybe the Raiders, the Panthers want to get Miami, will they want to get involved? Maybe.
Jeremy says, Ryan, other than my daughter, who's been doing the Jets chant since she was 2 years old, it's like you, it is fans like you that make me keep rooting for the seemingly hapless team. Love the show and all the work you put into it. Keeping other Jet fans informed. Not easy being from Iowa. Not a lot of us out here. Jeremy, thank you so much. That means a lot when I hear that. A lot of you guys don't know I do most of my stuff on YouTube. I think I have like 5,000 or 6,000 followers on Facebook, and I'm curious to see if they also follow me on YouTube. I'd love to see if anyone's watching this on Facebook and you want to support the show. At least throw me a little sub on YouTube, because I don't make any money off Facebook, unfortunately. There's no. It's more so just for the exposure, so I enjoy it. So it's nice to know that you appreciate it.
He's working out like 2-3 times a day. He's absolutely crushing it. So I understand what you're saying. This is a new build.
Moose City says, call onto Pat McAfee's show. I don't think they would pick up the phone for me. I'd love to work for him, though. That'd be cool. Rusty Rages says, it's background noise and it isn't on screen. Don't see you getting in trouble. I hope not. I thought about the idea of so I've always wanted to do the game streams. And the only reason I haven't done it is because the last time I did a game stream was back in my old apartment. I didn't have great internet. I didn't have a great sort of setup. So this year, and I've kind of foregone the ability to. I decided not to do the game stream so I could do the every throw videos and release that first. There might be a situation where I decide, hey, I'll get the every throw video out a little bit later, but then I'll do the streams for the actual games, because I think that would be really fun, as long as I can pay attention to the actual stream. That was the other thing. I have YouTube TV, so I'm a little bit delayed, so I can't really look at the chat too much, otherwise things get spoiled, and that's never fun. Citybird. Will it help to play on delay to avoid YouTube strike? I don't know. I'm not sure. Usually what happens with YouTube is if I show highlights or something, I don't get a copyright strike. I get a copyright notice, and it says, hey, any money that's being made off ads on this goes to the original creator, which is awesome. I don't mind that. I didn't make this, so I'm not trying to make money off things I didn't make. Yeah, it's a little interesting. You also, if you get too many of those, you get whacked, and then they put you in isolation. I got hit one time, I think, by that. And I think it was after the draft stream. Something squirrely happened 2 years ago that really had me like concerned. I was like, oh no. Chata says, why do you have YouTube TV? Anything good? I have YouTube TV because it allows me to use an app to be able to do like the draft stream. So like in a sense, I probably could do YouTube TV for just like draft time or when I'm doing these types of things where I might want to show something on screen. But I'd have to get actual coaxial cable, which costs more than what I do currently. Plus, I like the unlimited DVR function of YouTube TV. That's pretty nice. So Becca will like record certain things, and she'll be able to find it pretty easily. I like that sort of stuff. I should have like a little promo code for YouTube TV. Maybe it'll make my bill a little cheaper. It's good. I like it. The only thing is there's a lag, right? Like anytime, and same thing with like streaming softwares where you have like the game streams. It used to, like Buff Streams used to be one that you could go to through Reddit, or Reddit NFL streams, and those would always be on that same type of delay. I don't know I don't know if that's the best thing when I'm trying to live stream. Like the initial reaction with the chat synced up is a lot more fun. So maybe I spring for the new cable. Finger Lakes Jets says, I keep refreshing YouTube every time I leave a class today. This teasing me has me on pins and needles. I know. I was like scrolling through the Jets forums and Twitter posts nonstop. I never get my news through YouTube. I get my analysis through YouTube. So I always get my news through Twitter or, a forum or something like that. As much as I like pop on here, there's very rarely do I ever get something that is like breaking news from YouTube for me. CityBert says, have you heard that NFL, YouTube TV, Amazon gambling money will all come in another 2 years? If true, this means the cap will balloon yet again. Yeah, I do think the cap is going to go up again. The TV contract was signed $100 billion or $10 billion? It was $10 billion. Or was it $100 billion? I don't remember what it was. A massive deal. Whatever. It was like a 10-year, $100 billion contract or something along those lines. I know the NFL got YouTube, or YouTube got the NFL. So I would love a situation where there was some allowance where, like, I had heard at one point Amazon allowed you to stream and show the game on screen because Amazon was able to, since they own Twitch, was able to get the analytics and you were able to show it during the Thursday night games. So if YouTube TV was able to share the analytics with the NFL over how many viewers they get and, certain things of that nature, I would love to. I'd stream every game if I could show the game on here. That would be so cool. I think that's the future. I really do, because I think you'll get a lot more engagement with people hanging out with one another. The only thing is then it changes the narrative for the NFL, right? Like they can control a narrative to some extent if they control who can show it versus someone else. But yeah, I love the fact that more money's coming in for the NFL. I think the players deserve to get paid more. The fact that like an NFL male, or not an NFL male, a person who plays football in the NFL, their average age of life is 55 years old. The average age of a male in the U.S. is 75 years old. Like that, like there's a 20-year difference just to play in the NFL. That's scary to me. Those guys deserve more money than they make. I know it's just a game, but when you're sacrificing 20 years of your life for the satisfaction of a billionaire owner, pony up a little more money, guys. Muttvile says, I'm at work, been looking everywhere, just need to get the answer. Yep. I'm with you there. Rusty says, I also hated Aaron Rodgers, so this will be interesting, LOL. I've grown to respect and like him since back then, though. I've always liked Aaron Rodgers. I've soured a little bit more on him the last few years just because he seems like kind of a dick. But he could be our dick. Maybe I'll have an alert pop up. Aaron Rodgers is a dick, kind of a thing. Ron Weiss says, Ryan, does YouTube TV carry On Patrol live? I don't know what that is. So I don't know. My like cable viewing experience revolves around like throwing on sports and talk show hosts. Like, so it's Good Morning Football, it's ESPN. Like, that's really all I use it for. So I do a lot of my stuff through streaming. It's always on demand and things like that. Austin says, trade Zach, get Rodgers, and draft a quarterback to sit behind Rodgers for a year or two. We could finally have sustainable quarterback play. The Jets don't have to make a decision on Zach for another year and a half. Or, well, less than that, 1.2 years probably. So what you can do is you can have an evaluation year for Zach behind his idol. Then you have the draft next year where you get to see if a quarterback you like has fallen to you or you value them enough to trade up to get that quarterback. And then you either decide to exercise or not exercise Zach's option after the draft once you have any insight there. So I would say Zach is QB2 this year. They're going to bank on Aaron Rodgers playing every game of the season like he has for the last 5 years. And they're just going to say, hey, we're going to say Zach is quarterback 2. He'll be the backup, blah, 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 blah. And then if there's like the oh no situation of a quarterback going down, then maybe you don't see him and they bring in a vet. But I think Zach's here as QB2. Eric says, any tips for watching out-of-market games? I don't know how dialed in you could get to a VPN, but I guess if you could have a VPN trick your internet service provider to think you're in the state that you're trying to watch, you could probably do that. Other than that, I would suggest maybe NFL streams on Reddit, see if there's some way to watch it there. IPTV services are pretty cheap too, but you'd probably want a VPN if you wanted to do that. But you can get them for like 10 or 12 bucks a month, and you get like, I think 1,000 channels. It's insane. I had one for a little bit, but it's not super reliable. When there's a lot of like stress on a particular stream, like during football streams, it can be a little shaky, which for me doing the YouTube stuff was more of a concern than it is, maybe if someone's just watching stuff. Rusty says, Ryan, it's because I was a diehard Favre fan, and well, he took my favorite quarterback's job, hence why I hated Rodgers. Oh, okay, that's fair. I was a big fan of Favre when he came over. I was a big fan of Favre for the longest time until like just recently. Like I like Favre on the field. Favre off the field, he's kind of an asshole. Frank says, use the alert with the picks Rick. Like Pickle Rick? Is that what you're talking about? Harry W. a dick alert. I could have a big phallic-shaped Aaron Rodgers appear from the corner. That would be friggin' funny. I might get in trouble for that one, though. Who Dat Dude says, Dolphins interested in Derrick Henry per sources. Okay. That's fine, I guess. I would think Derrick Henry to the Falcons could make a lot of sense. Unless they're like really tied into their backs down there. They might. It's Live PD, but with a new name. I don't know. Maybe. I don't watch it. So I grew up watching like Law and Order and all that. Going through college, I'd watch SVU, and it'd be like, okay, we got to turn SVU off now before the first minute and 30 seconds. Otherwise, you're going to get hooked and you're stuck for the whole hour. Yeah, I know it. Tyler says, shame that Andrew Voorhees tore his ACL at the Combine. Would have been a good pick in the second or third round. He's going to be a good pick later on in the draft now. That's a player that I would keep an eye on. You're going to have to redshirt him for a whole year. You're only going to get him for 3 seasons, but you have someone that could be your guy moving forward. I like it. I obviously don't draft it too high, but I feel bad for the guy. I mean, he just dropped multiple rounds. He's going from probably a second round pick to probably a 5th, 6th round pick at this point, which there's value there to let him sit. I wonder if could he, I guess you wouldn't necessarily maybe see if you could go back to college. I know they've allowed some players to do that where if there's like injury and concern. I don't think so. I think he's going to get drafted later though, and that sucks. Phil said, not that we didn't already know this, but NFL Network just said Aaron Rodgers has received permission to speak to the Jets officially. Yeah, I think that's why we all kind of assumed it with them talking. Been thinking of covering Jets via YouTube for a while. Any recommendations you'd be willing to divulge for sources to keep up to date? Been a fan since 2000. So much pain to share with other fans. I don't know. A lot of people use Twitter. I don't use Twitter the way I probably should use Twitter. I retweet things that I find interesting that I want to use later on, and it's more of like a bookmark for things. I do a little bit of interaction. I've tried to be a little bit better on it because I know people like using Twitter a lot for that stuff, but I get spread so thin with everything I do. I just don't have enough time to really focus on it. So I would say I focus on the Jet Nation forums is a good spot for news. Twitter's a great spot for rumors and news because you could find the trending stuff. That would be the fastest ways to get it, I think. Jimmy G to the Texans, take it off the list. Is that true? Is he actually going to the Texans? Kenneth says, Ryan, have you ever tried IPTV? Yes, I have. I like IPTV. There's some good options with IPTV services. It's just, the only issue I ran into was the amount of you still have a delay, and then the reliability of the streams. You just got to find a good one, but they're pretty cheap. Sargent said Derrick Henry to the Bills. They need a running back. Yeah, that's where I see him to the Bills before I see him to the Dolphins. And I see him to Atlanta before I see him to the Dolphins as well. I would be a little surprised if he wound up going to the Dolphins. Nick Russo says 2 hours till the tag deadline. Hopefully we find out soon. I don't think they're going to. I feel like with Lamar, they should just tag him because there's no point. They're not going to hit any type of compensation thing right now.
I'm sure there's some stories that come out of there that not great.
Serial killers or just like what? Like serial killers come from there?
Citybird, thank you for the super chat, says, so the darkness retreat was BS? He decided nothing. No, I think he's decided he wants to play. It might be deciding, like he could have been deciding, hey, I'm going to play, or hey, I'm not going to play. Now he knows he's going to play, and now it's, am I going to play and try to force my way into the Packers? Am I going to play for the Jets, or am I going to play somewhere else? I think he's definitely playing, and that's what was decided during the darkness retreat. It's just a matter of, where that kind of shakes out. Hans is saying, someone clarify this for me if that's actually true or not. It looks like it's true because I have a few of you guys saying it in there. Breaking news, per Rob Demovsky, update. Sources tell Dan Graziano of ESPN and Dombrowski that a contingent of Jets team officials are scheduled to fly out today to meet in person with Aaron Rodgers. Good. They should have been meeting with him. They should have been getting on a plane as soon as he said, yeah, I might be coming to New York. Volvo fan says, Jets meeting Rodgers today as per ESPN's Graziano. So they're meeting him in person now in Green Bay. That makes me feel good. Got a big old chubby. Who are we cutting to make room for Rodgers? We don't have to cut anyone. You're fine. You don't have to do cut downs until like August, so you can hold on to him. Timothy Lee, thank you for the super chat. He says, I really preferred Carr, but will ride with Rodgers. Do you think the Jets bring in Lazard also, since Corey Davis is likely a cap casualty? I think Lazard is the least likely between him and Cobb to follow Rodgers over here because he hasn't been paid on a bigger contract. So I would see him maybe wanting to sign a bigger deal with another team as opposed to what the Jets may be offering to sign him to come here with Rodgers. I'd be cool with it. I don't know if I'm expecting as much from him as I would with maybe another veteran that we could maybe attract. Like, I think I would have higher expectations for a Sutton, OBJ, a Hopkins, a Michael Thomas. There's a number of guys out there that I would probably deem as better players than Lazard for the amount of money he may be seeking. Benjamin says, thanks for answering my questions today. Love your energy. New subscriber today, so I could ask questions. Go Jets. Super Bowl time. Thanks, Benjamin. Glad to have you in here. Always appreciated. Sergeant Beefcake, will we have to give up 13 for Rodgers? No, not going to happen. I don't think so. John says, if we keep our first this year, do we trade back and take Jackson Smith-Njigba, my favorite wide receiver in the draft? I think it's possible. I would prefer the veteran receiver route over drafting a young receiver, personally. I think the value's in tight ends in this particular draft. Jeffrey says, do you think we could trade Corey Davis or Braxton Berrios for a wide receiver that we might think will be better? I think teams will know we're probably looking to I think teams will know that we're going to cut Davis or Berrios anyway, and I don't think either one of them necessarily facilitates any type of trade for picks. I would be a little surprised. AZ Jets, we trading back or staying at 13, Ryan? Pros, cons. I would trade back. Trade back sounds nice to me. Citybird says, what's the over-under wins with Aaron Rodgers? What is your... I don't know what that means. What does that word mean at the end there? I think my over-under wins total for the Jets, I think the Vegas odds for over-under are going to put the Jets at 10 or 11. It'll be like 10.5 wins. I think I would predict the Jets to have 12 or 13. So I would bet the over on 10.5 wins if that winds up being the case. Phil says, what? Nope, sorry. What do you think Daniel Jones gets per year, similar to Carr? Yeah, I think Jones is worth, based on what we saw, Geno got 35, Carr got 37.5. I could see Danny Dimes, because of his youth and upside, getting 3 years, $40 million a year. I think 120 for Daniel Jones should be good. If he wants more than that, hit him with the non-exclusive tag and let him find the money elsewhere and take the 2 first-round picks. That's what I would do if I were the Giants. Phil says, stay with Skoronski if he is there. Jets fanatic Ryan, Aaron Rodgers just received permission to speak with the Jets. It's been happening all day. We're meeting in person now. That's the exciting part. I guess I should change this. Let's do this. Let's change this. We're going to say Jets meeting Bay with Rodgers. Boom! We'll change that. Bam! Whoa, Moose City. Thanks so much. Get your little Joe Namath alert on the side. Moose City says, we have 2 solid wide receivers in Garrett Wilson and more. Sign Cobb. Make Rodgers happy. I'd trade back to around the 20 to 25 range. Look at the best player available. I don't think wide receiver is a need at the moment for us to spend a high pick on. I'd want O-line, interior defensive lineman, linebacker, or safety. Yeah, that's kind of where I fall as well. If you can trade down from 13 into that mid-range like you're talking about, I think you can still be in striking distance for a good offensive lineman if you want. I think I'd have to look at defensive tackles. I don't know who's around that spot for defensive tackles. Linebacker-wise, if you do cut Lawson and you think you can get picks for Huff, I really like Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, I don't think there's any way the Jets could wind up bringing him in because of where he's going to go. But, man, he's a fun guy to root for. But yeah, I would say wide receiver is not as big of a need, primarily because like you have Elijah Moore, you have Garrett Wilson, you perceivably bring in Randall Cobb, and then you already have Breece Hall, Bam Knight, Michael Carter, Uzama, Conklin, hopefully Rucker. Like you have a lot of pecking order to get to before you get to that other wide receiver. So I do think that it's possible the Jets trade down and maybe forego wide receiver for some of those other positions. I would throw tight end in there as a potential need. A Fungus Among Us says, Daniel Jones does not deserve $40 million a year yet. Giants should have exercised his fifth-year option. They fucked up. I don't know what to tell you. Most quarterbacks that sign their contracts are not worth that amount of money based on the other quarterbacks in the league. So I think $40 million puts Daniel Jones at 9th best in the league, which I don't think he's the 9th best quarterback in the league, but you're hoping for upside. Where with other guys, someone like, I don't know, instead of having the proven quarterback sign a massive deal, like $40 million for a quarterback is kind of like that weird threshold of needing, like you're clearly a starter at $40 million. I think starting money is going to wind up being $30 million a year. And then everyone after that is going to be, something entirely different. Let's see. Moose City says, are you high on Van Ness? I'll be honest, I have no idea who he is. Let's see. Who are we talking about? Who is Van Ness? I won't be able to give you an analysis. Let's see. Iowa. What does he play? Defensive line, edge. I don't particularly want to go with an edge rusher. I would say Nolan Smith just because of how he tested and the person that I saw he was from his interviews. He's someone I do really like. But edge rusher's not a huge need for me. Let's see. You guys are telling me to check Deanna Rossini's tweet. How the fuck am I spelling her name wrong? What's going on here? Two N's. That's why. What did she tweet? What do we got going on? All right. The New York Jets have flown Woody Johnson's private plane to California to meet with Aaron Rodgers in person per source. Jets meeting with, we're going to say, let's change this. We're going to say meeting with Rodgers in California. All right. I guess I should probably put that on there, but that's all right. New York Jets have flown, meet with Aaron Rodgers per sources. They land soon. The Green Bay Packers have given New York permission to speak with Rodgers. Oh, man. It's happening. It's happening. Boys and girls, I've got my fingers crossed. Come on. Do we find out? There's a poll in the live chat. Do we find out about Aaron Rodgers before the Talkin' Jets panel at 8 p.m.? Does it happen? 51% of you say yes. Maybe that'll change now that Deanna Rossini has tweeted that out. Ron Weiss says, I like Drew Sanders at linebacker. Me too. I'm a big fan of him. My brother was sending me clips of him. I would be on board with that. Anonymous, the plane is almost in Cali. We need that kid that's tweeting out all of Elon Musk's locations. We need like a Woody watch. Where in the world is Woody? On his way to Cali. My heart rate's going to explode. I'm going to lose my friggin' mind if we wind up getting Rodgers. Ugh. It would be so Jets if their plane crashed into Rodgers' house. That would, well, no, I don't want to see that. But it would be funny if, no, it wouldn't be funny at all. But the car, they get a flat tire on the way to go to Rodgers and they miss the meeting. They miss the important meeting. Phil says, where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's get it done, Jets. So Crate says it's happening. Silas says, you have to stay on live now. Oh, God. I had 40 minutes planned. I was planning to go for 3 hours with this McAfee stuff. If that's the case, maybe I'll stay on. Or I'll just create a new thumbnail and we'll go live as soon as the news breaks. That's more likely what'll wind up happening, I think. Socrates says the Jets literally have no other choice. What are they going to sell the fan base on? Zach Wilson and Mike White again? I don't think it's no other choice. I think they could, try to make some type of push for Lamar Jackson, but I think Aaron Rodgers is clearly the best option for the New York Jets, given what they'd have to give up. Phil says, Woody Watch. I won't touch that one. Yeah, we'll have Woody Watch. I'm going to have a feeling there's going to be a lot of wood in this chat if we wind up signing Rodgers. I know I'll be excited. Drunk Phantom says, there might be a parade before we win the Super Bowl. I don't want to win the offseason. I want to win the offseason, but I want to win the in-season too. Oh, breaking news? McAfee? Oh. Are they saying anything? I don't think so. God, getting my hopes up. They said breaking news, but it might have been a joke. Damn. Ryan needs to fly to Cali. I'll get the green screen out and we'll put me in Cali. We'll be on a beach. Saw a report on ESPN that Saleh and Douglas wanted Carr. Woody wanted to wait on Rodgers. I don't think that's true. I think they all wanted Rodgers, and I think they were hoping Carr would stay. For the longest time, I've been saying I think Rodgers is option 1, I think Jimmy G is option 2, and I think number 3 would be Tannehill if you can get him in a trade because of the connections everywhere. I think the Jets used Carr, and I think Carr used the Jets to get what they both wanted. And for me, that's the route I think they were trying to go. I don't know how much the Rodgers stuff, or I don't know how much the Carr stuff was actually legit. Oh, there you go. Now McAfee's talking about the Deanna Rossini tweet that we just talked about. New York Jets have flown Woody Johnson's private plane out to get Rodgers.
Does this mean Aaron Rodgers wants to play?
Ooh.
We go to his best friend, man who's done it the longest, and in his inner circle, AJ Hawk. What does this mean, pal? This is obviously good news if you're a Jets fan, I think. But if you're a Packers fan, you got to be very worried.
Yeah, you got to be worried. I don't think it means that there's nothing guaranteed, but yeah, they're flying out to meet him. But that also happens. Remember Jake the Snake Plumber? He retired. John Gruden got the gig in Tampa, I believe. He flew to Jake's place in Montana or wherever he was staying and tried to talk him out of it, and Jake still stayed retired. So, I mean, you never know what could happen, I guess. But like we said, the Jets absolutely seem like they are trying to do everything they possibly can to get him.
They're hot to trot, aren't they? I wonder what this means, though, for man. We haven't heard.
Sorry, I'm focusing on the the McAfee stuff. Hopefully you guys can hear a little bit of it.
Just repeatedly on this program. So this would allude to the fact that the Packers seem to be not in the conversation anymore. Retired.
I feel like McAfee's trying to not say something but say something. He's already getting sued by Brett Favre. Not that I think Rodgers would sue him, but
How do we feel?
it definitely seems like they're not going to be. Rodgers will not be a Packer.
Or retire, right?
Yeah, or retire. Yeah, he's not going to be on the Packers next year, I don't think, unfortunately.
So they're saying they don't think he's going to be a Packer, and they don't think he's retiring, which I think is probably all of us thinking the same thing. Silas says, Talking Jets panel tonight will be lit. You're damn right. O'Leary and I were talking already. We're like, holy smokes, this is going to be nuts. We're going to go crazy. Frank says, you're on a roll. You're Aaron Dick. Now you're signing about Woody. Where's Woody? Woody watch.
Got to watch him play for 17 years, a lot of winning.
Oreo says, let's say we miss on all the quarterbacks. Hypothetically, we are. What are the chances of getting Fields on a Hail Mary? No. We're not getting Fields. Not going to happen. 0% chance. Jeff Erdy says, we need an emote of Woody Johnson in a Where's Waldo outfit. Ryan, make it happen. Ooh, I could do that. I'll see if I could get it made for the Talking Jets panel. If I get a Where's Waldo character up, then we'll have that. But it's only going to be for members. So if you want to join the channel, click the little blue button to join the channel. If you want to, support what I do here. You guys keep the lights on. along with my career. I would love to do this, though. And you guys make it happen. Kay Newen says, Rodgers takes the Jets to 2 Super Bowl games, then Zach takes over from there, Jets Super Bowl. That's the hope. That is the hope. Gangrene, Jets flying officially to meet Rodgers. Yes.
Everybody in this room thinks you fucking.
Rob says, oh shit.
What do I know?
Ooh. Duncan. Did O'Leary get down on a knee? I hope so. He's got to lock that girl up.
I'm not going to sit there and bug people and try to ask every 2 seconds.
Hint, hint, O'Leary, if you're in the chat. Tragic says, love that the Jets are being so aggressive with this. We could find out today. I'm hoping so. I've grown a few gray hairs during this quarterback process.
This guy's an addict. He's a tobacco thief.
All right. I'm going to lower that a little bit. Yeah, dude, I'm getting gray hairs from this. Getting heartburn not knowing where this guy's going to be. Woody tweeting from the plane. Is he actually? Is that like a thing? It wouldn't shock me if he was. Let's see. Mr. Woody Johnson. Wow, so many people. It's great that this is the trending topic right now. I guess I should keep this on a little feed here in front of me. All right. I have that going through the ticker on the one side. See where that goes. Let's see. I know who I am. I'm the dude watching another dude. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. I'm the dude pretending to be the dude acting as another dude. Rick says, what a perfect time to watch your show. Yeah. Fingers crossed we hear something. Come on, boys and girls. And Ray says, we should really think about Lamar Jackson. I don't think we should think about Lamar Jackson until Aaron Rodgers says he's not playing here. They're talking about Woody having his own thing. They're saying Woody didn't want Rodgers because he didn't want to take the vaccine. No, that's not true. Kev Chatter, Ryan, you need a secretary to update you on Rodgers news. Yeah, I need a producer. I'll probably be looking to hire some type of interns in some capacity at some point because I'm getting spread a little thin. So who knows? Maybe I'll get some help in some capacity. Ben celebrates 25 months of membership. Thank you, Ben. He says, Ryan, congrats on 25,000 subs. Pumped for the panel. Thank you, dude. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to hear Green Bean and Matt's thoughts on all this stuff. Really, really excited. Rick Fisher says, thanks for all your insights. Of course. Always fun. It's just opinions, right? Like it's like an asshole. Everyone's got an asshole, but I'm your asshole. Benjamin says, what do y'all think of my New York Jet YouTuber name? Agreeing with Benvy. Ah, that's funny. Nice little play on words there. Card Cave Central says, Sauce just had the best tweet ever. Ugh, okay. All right. What do we got? What's Sauce saying over here? Come on, Sauce. Sauce, what have you tweeted? Oh, eyeballs. He tweeted eyeballs to Jalen Ramsey. Is there anything else going on? Oh, yes. I promise if you become a Jet, I won't ever pick you off in practice. I'll burn the cheese head. All right, let me pull that up on. That's great. This is the. All right, I gotta pull this up. This is what Sauce tweeted out. All right. Let's keep that up. We'll pop that up over there. I promise, if you become a Jet, I won't pick you off in practice, and I'll burn the cheesehead. Oh, God, I love Sauce. I'm going to call that. I guess we'll keep that up. We'll keep it up for now. Very excited to see this sort of stuff. Moose said, you see Sauce's tweet. Yes, here we go. Michael Murphy says, I respect you being on your grind, Ryan, but please, I think you are, but please be mindful that not all of us have it to offer and simply enjoy supporting your channel. Oh, yeah, no, just drop a like. By all means. The fact that you guys just hang out here is more than enough for me. Ryan says, bring on Tigo. I'll bring on Tigo in a little bit. We'll see where it goes. See if he wants to. Someone is tracking the plane. It's currently over Arizona. Ugh. You guys are great. YouTube is undefeated. Or Twitter's undefeated, rather, sorry. Biker says, I love watching his Twitch streams. Are you talking Sauce, right? I play Warzone. I would love to play Warzone with Sauce. That would be fun. See where he winds up playing? How good he is? Dan, Sauce is a national treasure. Agreed. Sauce used the cheesehead to wipe his webcam clean last night on his stream. That's really funny. I sent Sauce a DM because I made the little alert with him and the cheesehead popping up, and I offered it to him, but I never got a response. I thought it was kind of fun. Kenneth says, I think Sauce predicted this when he wore the cheesehead. That was right. That was when it all came around. Jay Green says, now that we have Aaron Rodgers, who else do we get to go for a Super Bowl run? We don't know if we have Aaron Rodgers yet. We're hoping. Hoping we get them. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Zachary Burner, where's that guy that was hiding in the bush outside One Jets Drive? Send him to Cali. Yeah, wherever Rodgers' home is, someone pay attention. Jeffrey says, Ian Rappaport update, Jets ready to trade for Rodgers if Packers pay a part of his salary. Is that new news, or is that kind of repeating with what we sort of heard the other day? I don't know if that's new or not. Devon says, you play Warzone, Ryan. Yes, I do. I'm pretty good at it, too. I have last I looked, I had a 1.82 KD, so I don't know if that still holds true, but I'm pretty decent. Rico the Pup says, Bush guy, I never heard that story. Yeah, there was a guy hiding outside One Jets Drive in the bushes waiting for something. What was it? Was it the quarterback news, or was it like who we were signing as a head coach? I think that's what it was. The Packers are exhausted with Aaron Rodgers and ready to move on from him. I think Karen Rodgers is my favorite term for him that I've seen put up by someone who is frustrated. That makes me laugh.
We're all speculating right now. We don't know if Woody Johnson likes to do ayahuasca or LSD or mushrooms.
Oh, Ron, I missed your... Oh, sorry, Ron. He says Shay for secretary. Shay, you could be my secretary. I heard her and Becca came home, so they're downstairs somewhere. Let's see. Ah, that's what it was. NR Laxus Sallow was the news from Bushman. Help me level up my guns. I just started again. I don't really go through the challenges. I'll be honest. I find a gun I kind of stick with, and then I just keep playing with that. Plus, you pick up so many weapons in Warzone anyway that it's my like end game class is a sniper with Ghost on it, because I feel like you can eliminate more enemies with sniper rounds late in the game than you can with assault, with like 40 or 50 rounds in an assault rifle. And I feel like I usually have an assault rifle by end game anyway, so that's my thought process there. I could talk games for days. Jesus, LOL. No one will ever doubt Jet fans' dedication. No, we are a breed of a different, we're cut from a different cloth than I think most people. Sveko says, wasn't it Manish Mehta or whoever you spit it? And that's why he got fired. No, I don't think so. He's just I don't like Mehta. Come on, Rodgers. Duncan says, Italian restaurant reservations under Johnson in California. Any hostesses on this stream? Yeah, anyone that's in California, let us know. Let us know. Why did we send Woody Johnson? He's going to ruin this. No way. Woody knows how to talk to people. I as much shit as Woody gets, I don't mind him as an owner. There's a lot of people that are not too thrilled with him. Aha, Robbie Meichner, what's up, dude? He says snipers are trash. You're trash. I'll play you in Warzone. I don't use the sniper all game. It's just when you get the loadout and you want to have Ghost. That's where I'd go. Tommy P says, would love to hear the conversations on that jet right now. Yeah, right. How many bottles of Johnson & Johnson lotion you think they're bringing back there? And how many on-flight bathrooms are there? Because that's an important question we need answers to. Dan, NY, says, I know there's a whole knock on Rodgers for not being nice to young players, but he never had Garrett, Sauce, Brees, JJ, Clemens, Quinnen. Need I say more? #JetUp. I also think there's a different mentality with Rodgers helping Zach versus Rodgers helping the guy that his head coach traded up for to get. For me, two different conversations. Chop Liver says, if we do trade for Rodgers by end of day, what trade would ruin the panel if there is one? Ooh, yeah. If there was like a situation where maybe the Jets gave up 2 firsts for Rodgers, I don't think it would ruin the panel, but it would certainly give us a lot to be upset about. I don't think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot. FM says Warzone is the worst game ever. Spoken like a true one and done. Sucker. Sorry. Hennessy says Packers are tired of the husband coming home late. They need a divorce from Aaron. Yeah, I agree. Jeff says, as we're talking, Woody is slipping a few Aaron Rodgers hundos under the table. Yeah, do it. I don't care. As long as you don't get caught. Fingerlake says, I started Warzone 2 months back. It's addicting. I play with my other dad buddies. It's our group therapy. Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. I have like my group text with guys, but some of my best friends are on, live at night. And it's like, all right, well, let's play some games together. Let's talk about the kids, see what's going on. It's kind of my decompress time. Like I use it for Jet stuff here, but I've never really felt like I wanted to share like the gaming side of things because it was sort of my unplug sort of thought process there. Danny says, can't wait for the content you make when we get Rodgers Jet up. Dude, I'm going to lose my mind. If we get Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to go absolutely bonkers. AZ says, Michael Jordan wasn't nice to young players either. What's your point? Yeah, I don't have any problem with someone who's not necessarily great with young players because I'm looking for a Super Bowl for 2 years. You got to have a Sharks mentality. Brees Hall tweeted at Jetstalk 24/7. Is that true? I don't think that's true. I feel like I'd know that. Let's see. Did I get any notifications? Probably not. Be cool though. I see all the gifs you guys are posting. It's pretty funny. Ugh, dude, my heart pounding. Let's see. I can't show it on screen. If I stand up, I'm going to get demonetized. Trey says, I'll let Diva take me to the Super Bowl. Yes, all damn day. Oh man, Real Ministries says, first time commenter, great job on your page. Last jersey I bought was Favre. Next jersey I will buy is Aaron Rodgers. Dude, let's make it happen. Come on. Come on, AA Ron. Let's sign. Yo, Tigo, drop in the chat if you want to hop on. Let me know. You can. I'll throw the link that you had from yesterday. I think should still be good. So if you want to, he said send it. Yeah, so you can find it, Tigo. You definitely. Him and I have gone back and forth. Let me know if you do need it, and then I can go back and find it. Moose City says they have info on who is on the plane. Woody, Salah, Hackett. Yeah, what the heck is Joe Douglas doing? Why wouldn't he be on it? Yoder says we need to build Rodgers a spy balloon and fly over. Maybe I'll do phone calls. That would be fun. That'd be a good time. Although I'd have to de-link the Pat McAfee show. Moose City says he was. My bad. I think he's talking about. Do we have info on who's on the plane? Everyone. Send the whole contingent of people. Oh man. Come on. All right, let's do this. Let's throw up the. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna do some call-ins here. That's what we'll do. Oh, there we go. Got some Tigo action in here. How does do? Sorry, Tigo. Give me a second. And bam! What's good, Tigo? Hold on. I don't think I can hear you yet. I gotta
Hi,
get
guys.
the old headphone a go.
Hello.
Let's see if that works.
Hello?
Nope.
No,
Come
can't hear me?
on. Connect.
Please, Greg.
What's going on here?
Well, hi, chat. How's everyone feeling? Is everyone as excited, I guess is the best way in PG-13 way of me saying it as I am?
Tigo, can you hear me? I can't hear you. I
can
know the
hear
chat
you.
can hear you. Okay, you can
I
hear
can
me.
hear you.
So let me play with this a little bit and see if I can see how this goes.
Yeah, they can hear me.
I think. Built-in speakers. All right. There's a setting here that I am missing. And I'm going to find it. Usually my
Take your
Bluetooth
time.
hooks up pretty good, so I'm a little surprised that's not working that way.
Fun fact, guys, if you have any questions about the plane and the New York Jets plane, put it in the chat. I've got it pulled up on my other screen. I've got 3 monitors. I don't know if you guys remember seeing it on the
All right,
on the
Tigo,
panel.
I think you can hear me.
Yep.
All right, chat can be heard as well. Let us know if that sounds good. What's going on, Tigo?
Not much, man. I wasn't expecting today to be this.
Exciting?
I don't even know if exciting's the word, but just this. I don't know. It's just crazy to think about, like, everything going on and how quickly things are happening. Like, I've been talking so much. I've got, like, my voice is cracking, going through my water, doing all this stuff. I'm like, got me giddy like a 5-year-old girl.
I've heard something about a Brees tweet. Let's see what Brees tweeted.
Oh, yeah. He's like, don't mind me just manifesting. It's hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it.
All the
I love
rookies
it.
are getting
I love
involved.
it.
I'm waiting for the G-Dub tweet.
Oh, yeah. It's the little happy face. Oh, dude, I love seeing this. Like, our players are all fired up. They know it's happening.
Oh,
Fans know it's happening.
Yeah. Like,
right?
the real move that would, like, solidify as like the I don't want to say it's a good guy move, but if Zach tweeted something, like just being like, hey, I know what's happened. I need a reset. Aaron Rodgers is possibly the best opportunity for me seeing the field again. Let me just send the tweet. Hey, Aaron, come hang out. Like,
yeah, I wonder what Zach's reaction is going to be, because I feel like Zach's camp, like his family, is probably on board with that same mindset. With it's like, hey, let's have Rodgers. Let's let New York simmer out. Zach's going to make a shit ton of money if he pans out in New York, and I think his best chance to work out is with Aaron Rodgers in front of him. Yep. So I do think it's probably going to be a very positive conversation with Zach Wilson.
I think it has to be in like the grand scheme of things. It's one of those things where there's not much. Like, in the end, a couple of things can happen, and Aaron Rodgers is the best thing to happen for Zach Wilson, because we either take his 5th-year option and we try him on that third year, right, or the 5th year, essentially, and we see what he is. And if he works out, he stays in New York, he gets the bag. By that point, hopefully, he has 2 Super Bowl rings already, and we're starting and marching our way down the New York Jets dynasty, right? And then, if that's, let's say, not the case and it doesn't work out, you don't take his 5th-year option, some team is going to look at him and say, he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years. Mike LaFleur hasn't panned out as the super best offensive coordinator in the NFL. You know what I mean? The Jets do have 2 Super Bowl rings at this point with Aaron Rodgers. He has to have learned something, and he'll get signed to another team. So, like, if you know you're not going to start and you're not going to get traded and your value is the lowest possible that it is right now, staying in New York and learning from Aaron Rodgers isn't a bad deal.
Yeah, I completely agree. Guys, I'm going to leave the call-in thing you'll see above Tigo's head. Pinned comment in the live chat. If you guys want to call in, we'll do the 3-minute timer, and after 3 minutes... That's right. We'll do a few calls, because I feel like this is interesting enough stuff going on where I want to hear from the fans, not just the talking in the chat. I got that going. Too loud, probably.
It's exciting, to say the least. There's a lot of stuff going on. They lost a minute. What happened? I'm watching the live flight data on my screen. Yeah. They saved a minute, so they were going to land at 12:47. They saved a minute, so they were going to land at 12:46. Now they lost.
They're
a minute.
an hour
What's
away,
going on,
right?
Arizona?
Like, because it's a 3-hour time difference.
Yeah,
is that right?
I'm saying local time. Their
local time.
landing time is 12:47 PST as of right now. They lost 30 minutes because but that's because they left late. Their scheduled to take off time was at 9 a.m. this morning, and they only left at 9:40, and so their scheduled landing time was at 12:17, but now they're landing at 12:47.
Oh, man, that is exciting. All right, we got a caller in here. Let me throw him up on, he won't be on the screen, but Devin, thank you so much for calling in. Welcome to the cockpit, brother.
What's up?
Hanging in there. What's on your mind?
I just need this to end already. I'm at work right now. I've been a Jets fan. I'm 22. I've been a Jets fan since '08, '09. And I just want a competent quarterback. It's time. The 49ers get to have three quarterbacks on their roster. You got to watch Tua put up numbers with Waddle. It's time, you know? And
Yeah, dude.
I wanted to ask you, my fault. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about a T. Higgins trade?
I think he's going to be worth more to someone else than what I think we should pay for him. I really like him. I wouldn't give up what they should get for him. I think he should be worth a first and a third or something along those lines. Those other, right. I would lean more towards maybe a Cortland Sutton, someone that may be more pushed out as opposed to like moneyed out, if that makes sense.
Right. But yeah, man, we just get Aaron Rodgers, time to roll.
Dude, it would be fantastic. It would be the first time we could be excited about our offense in like, well, I mean, I guess we were excited last year about the offense, even though we didn't see much in like the second half of the year. But yeah, dude, it's gotta be Rodgers. The players are amped up. Everyone's jazzed.
When do you think it gets announced?
I think it gets announced like today. We will definitely hear it. I don't know if we'll hear it by the deadline, but I think we know by. What's going on, Tigo?
I think Thursday.
You think Thursday?
No, I thought you said today, and I was like, "Oh, I hope I'm wrong."
I think we find out today. They're meeting with Rodgers now, and then maybe it's like, well, okay, maybe it's a situation where Rodgers has said, I want X, Y, Z to happen for me to play in New York, or I'm going to retire, and that would be the complicated side of things. But I think those conversations have already happened, and we're going to find out today that he is going to get traded, and then from today through Monday, we'll be working on restructuring all our guys. I think that's where it's going to, shake out. What do you think, Devin? When do you think we hear from them?
Yeah, I think it gets announced today. I think we get him back on that plane with Joe D, and we just roll, man.
It's like, yo, we got some ayahuasca for you on the plane. Come back with us. We'll get you seeing all the right stuff. I like it.
Yeah,
Devin, any last things before I eject you?
Just go Jets, and yeah, that's it.
I love it, dude. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, let's go over to Alex, see how Alex is feeling right now. How you feeling, bro?
Hey Ryan, hey, just calling in. I'm super excited. Aaron Rodgers possibly coming to the Jets. Hopefully they bring out the red carpet. It's New York City. I feel like his personality fits well with the market, and I kind of feel like the Michael Scott meme. Just stay calm, stay effing calm.
Right? I'm trying not to have my heart rate pounding as much as it is, but I felt like it's going to happen for a while. It seemed like it makes the most sense for all parties involved. I just want it to happen. Finish me off. Come on, Woody. Let's go. Get her done.
I've given up trying to stay calm. My blood pressure is through the roof. I am bouncing. I'm done trying to control it.
Alex, what are you doing trying to pass the time right now as we wait for this information? Are you just listening to this, or are you doing something else?
Oh, well, yeah, no, I'm driving home right now, so, beating traffic, trying to stay aware of everything going on, but trying to look at Pat McAfee show, getting ready to pre-order my, Joe Namath, everything, basically, getting ready for the whole shebang. Can't believe it, we have a chance.
I think we do. What do you think the compensation is ultimately going to be for Rodgers?
I think a second and maybe a complimentary draft next year, depending on how he does. But it's Aaron Rodgers. He's worth a first round pick. But a second round would be sufficient. No one else, other the other teams that you've mentioned before, they don't have enough draft capital to entice Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers are the Packers. They've had this model of every 15 to 18 years they transition from one quarterback to the next. So. It's unfortunately it's the next round for Jordan Love, and hey, much respect, but let's get our guy.
Yeah, dude, I want us to go out and get the dude. Like, I want Rodgers to be fully committed here. I don't care. I'm at the point where, like, almost any level of compensation is just going to have you like, okay, fine, we got him. I don't care. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, if I see a first, I'm not going to care. If I see a second, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to be overly excited. And I probably should be. But, dude, I think 2 years, I think the Jets can get a ring with this roster with 2 years of Rodgers. Tigo, you think the same thing?
Oh, yeah. I think, like, it's one of those things where I think the roster is built so well, and with Rodgers and how cheap he's going to be, I think we're going to be able to get more than enough things to surround him, keep the defense elite, and then he's going to elevate the offense to elite.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything to like Rodgers not having any drafted help from Green Bay and like the Jets maybe moving in a similar direction? Like, oh, well, hey, Rodgers, we'll let you pick your weapons. I think that's like nice on the table. If you want a weapon at 13, we'll take one at 13 if you want. I don't know. We'll see. Alex, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Let's see.
That's actually an interesting comment that you made. Would they let him just, hey, 13 can be whatever you want? Would they let him?
I think the way they word it. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the way they word it is, Rodgers, we're going to let you dictate your weapons. Let's go find, you want Cobb? Sure. Barrios, you're gone. You want Cortland Sutton? All right, we'll go get him. If we don't do any of that, then I think it's like, okay, if there's a player we like, here's where we're kind of thinking. I think they move Rodgers into like a de facto on-field offensive GM. Like he's almost at that level of where Peyton was at when he went to Denver. I think he could make those same types of calls and whatnot. All right, we got Danny chiming in. How you doing tonight or today?
What's up, Ryan? I'm a huge fan. Watch all the videos. I'm excited right now. I really want Rodgers. Been a Jets fan my whole life, and I think the worst part about it is right now I'm up at school in Massachusetts. Bunch of Patriots fans around me. They're all bagging on me after watching those 2 Patriot games. But I'm excited. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming. I think he's gonna be here.
Dude, as soon as that happens, if Aaron Rodgers comes here, you better get a broom and start doing the clean sweep of the Patriots. Those guys aren't winning another game against Aaron Rodgers.
I'll take my Jets flag and start running around campus if that happens. I don't care.
Like a cape.
I just want him. But
I'll drive up there with
you. It's got to be brutal being up in Patriot country. What did they feel like? Because I heard some rumors that maybe there's an outside chance that Mac Jones gets traded to the Vegas Raiders. I don't see that happening, but like, is there any rumors of that up by you?
Not so much. I've heard actually some murmurs and some rumors of DeAndre Hopkins coming to the Patriots. That got me a little nervous. I wasn't gonna lie when they said that to me, but I was more excited the fact that Aaron Rodgers might be a Jet instead. So.
Oh yeah, as long as Mac Jones is the quarterback for New England up there, I have no concerns, like at all. Like DeAndre Hopkins, sure, why not? I don't care. Sauce is gonna lock him down. Our defense is so good. I'm not concerned what other teams' offenses do.
Yeah, I'm just excited.
How you feeling about that? I saw you get excited.
Oh, no, you said it perfectly. Like, it doesn't matter what the other team's offense does because our defense is better. That's just straight up. Like, I
as
agree
long
with
as
that
Rodgers
statement 100%.
can move our offense against the other team's defense, that's all I care about. And I think we're going to have the horses in the stable to be able to do just that. Danny, what do you think the trade ultimately gets done for? If it gets done, what do you think the compensation is?
I'm thinking a second-round pick this year and maybe a second next year, but I also think the Packers are going to eat some of Aaron Rodgers' contract. I think they have to if they want to ship him off.
Oh, man. If we wind up getting Rodgers for like a second and a conditional pick next year, and Joe Douglas says, hey, I want some of your lunch money too. Oh, Joe Douglas, I'll build you a damn statue in my office.
Yeah.
That would just make me feel so good. If they eat some of that contract, I don't think they need to because I think the Jets can absorb it. But if Douglas got them to, I love it. Tigo, you think they're going to have to eat some money?
Depends on what they want. Do they want 13? Like, if you want 13,
I think if they want,
you're going to have to eat the contract.
Yeah, I think that's the good way to look at it. Like, hey, you want 13, come eat the contract. Let us do whatever we can. I don't want to give up 13. I'd rather eat the contract and give up the second than have them, take on some of the cap hit. Danny, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Let's see. We got Alex joining. Alex, how you doing tonight, brother? Today, brother.
I'm doing very well. I'm scared as all hell, and I think you guys can see me. The audience can't, but this is my hand right now. I am shaking like absolutely no business. I'm only 21 years old, and
Damn.
I'm the
Yeah.
guy earlier that commented about I'm getting married in 2 days, and I'm more
Oh,
nervous
you're the getting
about
married
this
guy?
shit. Yes, sir, I am.
Congratulations.
Awesome,
That's
man.
awesome. You
Thank
and
you
your
very much.
wife,
Thank you very much.
absolutely the
And my
best of luck.
I appreciate it. We appreciate it both. But she was woke up this morning. I saw all that news and all that stuff about Aaron Rodgers going to New, like they're flying out to it, and I've never seen my wife more happy. Like I swear to God, like she's so thrilled that she's like, maybe this shit's almost over finally.
Alex,
I'm
I
not-
want you to shoot me an email, jetstalk247@gmail.com. Like, let me know who you are and everything, and I got that. I got a new shirt that I just released. I want to send it to you as a thank you for watching the channel and for you getting married.
Oh wow!
So
All right, I will definitely do that. I appreciate it very much, man. I really do.
yeah, of course, dude. The fact that you're getting married, that's exciting. We should be celebrating
Yes,
about this. We need more
absolutely.
happy things to be talking about. So congratulations, dude.
And
Well,
Aaron
talk to me
Rodgers
about the
becoming
trade
QB.
specifically. What do you think the compensation's actually going to end up being?
Oh man, that's probably the part that scares me the most. I do think though it's gone down since Derek Carr is now a Saint. I think that
Mhm.
they kind of had that debate with themselves. Like we have these two ways we can go, but
Mhm.
now that Carr is a Saint, the Jets really have no other option, and they're like, "Come on now, like we're the only team that's really going to take on Aaron Rodgers at this point. Like we're the best option for you." I think probably a second or third round pick, and then that conditional first round pick next year. And I really think just knowing how Joe Douglas is, he's just Joe Douglas. He's that master of the master class. He's probably
Yeah,
going to
dude.
end up getting them like paying off the contract or some way. Like it's going to be a Joe Douglas masterclass, as we all know and love.
Oh, interesting turn of events just now. It looks like Lamar just got the non-exclusive tag.
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
Uh-oh. Rodgers better sign on the dotted line real quick.
Yeah, that bet be better. Otherwise, that's going to happen. I'd be thrilled with that too.
I think if Rodgers, like, if it falls through with Rodgers, then the Jets should be in on it. But even with Lamar getting the non-exclusive tag, I think the smart move is for the Jets to pay a lot less in draft capital to continue building the team and to roll with Rodgers on a possibly restructured deal or like on a lesser hit than we would have had to take on because Green Bay might have to eat some of that contract. Alex, what color
Yes, sir.
is your suit for your wedding?
It is blue. It's navy blue.
Ooh, nice brown shoes, black shoes. What you going with?
I went with the brown Oxfords.
Ooh, nice. I wore a nice blue suit for my wedding. I loved it. While you're standing up there at the altar, look at your wife and just realize, take it all in because it's just you and her. Just look at the two of you. It's a great feeling. It's awesome. You're going to have a great time. Alex, thank you so much. And you have been ejected from the cockpit. That is cool.
It's great, man.
All right. What else we got over here? We got Pappy. Pappy, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Sorry, man. I usually talk to Richie and stuff like that.
No, well, I'm glad to have you
But
on. glad you're calling in
yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
yeah. So I'm really glad if we get Aaron Rodgers, man. Like I just want to be successful for 1 year because I live in Michigan
Mm-hmm.
and get a lot of Lions fans. And my
Yep.
brother and dad are both. My brother's a Patriots fan, and my dad's a Steelers fan. So I always hear it from them.
Yeah, so they've got
So I
all the
just
rings
because
and you're
I've been
just
a fan since.
waiting.
Yes,
Ugh,
yes. I was here with Chad. Chad Pennington was here.
sure.
That's when I started watching the Jets and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Lamar would be our second option,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say Jimmy G is like okay, but I could
Mm-hmm.
actually honestly say if Aaron Rodgers doesn't make it to us and we don't get any options, maybe Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
G and we say Zach, this is your year.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't make it, you're done. You're out. Bye bye. This is your year.
Yeah, maybe that's the what you'd have to do. I think with Jimmy G, you're probably banking on him not playing the full season, so you will eventually have to go back to Zach, and maybe it's a situation where you say, hey, guess what? You have to beat out Jimmy G to be on this team next year. I hope that's not where it goes. I would still like to redshirt Zach for an entire season and just kind of forget. I don't want to say forget about him, but let them work on him behind the scenes.
Right.
So what do you think the trade compensation ultimately will be for?
Ooh, that's going to be tough. But I think we're going to have to give up a first. I think it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if it's this year or next year. What I think will happen is we'll have to definitely negotiate, and plus we have. I think we're going to trade Corey Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Corey Davis. I think I like the Packers Alan Lazard better
Mm-hmm.
than Corey Davis.
Yeah, I
So
think
I would
Lazard
say probably
might give you better health than Davis. Like he might just be available more frequently than Davis has been. I like Davis. I don't know if he's reliable enough for us to hold on to him.
but yeah, so I would give up a first for next year and probably a second, and see
Mm-hmm.
if we could trade a third as well, and see if we could get their second round picks. So we have 2 second round picks instead, because we need a
Ooh.
center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if the Jets were to make a move and the Packers have to eat contract and we had to give up 13, if we could get a pick back to facilitate them getting that first round pick, that would be interesting. I hadn't really considered that. Pappy, thank you so much for the call. You have been ejected
Thank you.
from the cockpit. All right, we got my boy Charlie on. Charlie, how you doing, brother?
Yo, Ryan, I cannot believe what's going on. I'm just like shocked. Like yesterday, I saw the tweet, like Derek Carr got signed. I'm like, F, dude. Like, we're not going to get anyone. Classic Jets, like Kirk Cousins a few years ago. But it's looking pretty real right now.
Yeah,
Put my
right, dude.
Jets
Could
hoodie
you
on this
imagine?
morning. Haven't worn this since like the season. Got my hoodie on today. I'm wearing it all day until we sign Rodgers. I cannot believe what's going on.
Dude, Charlie is the guy who lost his mind in the video that I had. I shot one at work where I was like, "Yo, Charlie, Zach didn't tear his ACL," and he's like, "Let's go." We were all
God, I'm so
pumped about
stupid
it.
for that.
Now
Oh,
we're
no.
like
Oh, my
off
God.
that
I wish he
completely,
would've
and we're
gotten
all
hurt.
about the Rodgers train. Charlie, what do you think he gets traded for?
I mean, I think it's probably going to be similar to the Favre deal, maybe. Maybe you give up like a second, and then you do a conditional pick of, we made the Super Bowl as a first, playoffs as a second, we don't as a third. I
Yeah,
think we
I
have a lot
like
of
that trade a
leverage
lot. I think it makes
because
sense and it protects us in case like Rodgers hangs it up. I don't think he's gonna hang it up. I think we get a full 2 years from Rodgers.
I really hope so because, and even too, you guys are talking about Zach, I'm just kind of over it. Like, I'd rather just draft someone maybe like the later rounds. Zach needs to go. I think he's permanently destroyed.
I think they're gonna let him sit for a year because you got to pay him anyway. This is like the long shot he develops, and you kind of watch him this year. But I think they're gonna make a decision after this season, and they'll draft a quarterback. They'll draft a quarterback in next year's draft, and then not exercise Zach's fifth year option, or they'll exercise the option and then not take one. But they'll wait until the last second, kind of like how some teams are waiting on the fifth year option tags this year.
And I don't know if I'm like, does Rodgers have a no trade clause? He has a no trade clause, right?
No, he doesn't, but he can retire. Rodgers can dictate where he goes, similarly to how Tyreek Hill was able to dictate where he went, because like no team's going to trade the assets needed to get the player if they're not going to sign a contract or want to play with him. Like if Rodgers says, "Screw that, I'm not going to," I don't know, what name the worst team that you could possibly think of going to, and then sure he's got the money. Yeah, sure he's got the money, but I think he's going to go where he wants to go. Charlie, what do you think about Lamar getting the non-exclusive tag?
That's another option. I mean, I feel like the contract for Lamar is going to be tough, especially with Quinnen coming up, needing a contract. I don't know. Right now, if you can get Rodgers and you could get the Packers to eat some of that money, I mean, we could really go for it this year. I mean, like really, like 1 year, just go all in. I think 1 year of experience for all the rookies under their belt. I think this team's just going to be flying around the field, and I just can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers play in person. That's what I'm more excited about too.
Dude, Charlie, could you imagine seeing a season where we get like 45 touchdowns from our quarterback when we haven't gotten 10 touchdowns from our quarterbacks the last 3 years?
Too, like all these analysts saying, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers had his worst year ever." Like that would have been like better than any Jet quarterback ever. Like we've seen such terrible play for so long. I've never seen a good quarterback play for the Jets, besides maybe
Yeah.
Chad Pennington. But
For you guys in the chat, Charlie's like 20. What are you? 25?
I'm
24.
23. 23.
Ah, damn! I thought you were older than that. Ah, that's
Like,
right.
yeah. I was in middle school when the Jets were last in the playoffs. So it's
Ugh,
been a really
brutal.
long time, and I'm in college now. So it's been a while, and it's been hard, and it's just one good thing to happen to my Jets, please. I just pray. Like
I know.
for me,
Charlie was
it's
the
just
one
so we
that
can
told
actually
me
like
that Sam
we
Darnold got
talk about the
mono.
Jets. We're not talking about hypotheticals. We talk about the Jets a lot. And it's all hypotheticals, and if
Oh,
we
yeah.
got Rodgers, it could be real. Oh,
Yo,
I'm so
Charlie, I
excited.
threw $100 on Jets plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl. Odds are
It
now
just went
down to
down. Actually, I don't
1,800.
know
I
if you
heard
saw BetMGM
16.
with this whole Rodgers.
1,600.
1,800 now.
Yeah, Tigo was just
So,
saying 1,600 is where they're at now.
oh my God. Oh, too much pressure. Oh. We
Charlie,
better.
I'm going to eject you from the cockpit. You have
That
yourself
playoff
a
game
great
next year,
day.
we're
We'll see
going.
you on Talking Jets later, brother. I know you're going to be there. Boom!
You're out of here.
All right, next up, we got Hep. Hep, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, fellas, how's it going over there?
Hanging in there, just trying to, like, keep my cool with this whole Aaron Rodgers stuff.
Awesome. I have a couple of questions for you. One is,
Yeah, shoot.
I'd like to bring in C.J. Chark and get rid of Corey Davis. Chark was fine all season. He played all time. Big receiver, and fast as hell. The other thing is, if we sign Rodgers, I'd love to get the 1969 championship jerseys.
That would be cool. I would love to see a situation where you have Namath going over to Favre, handing him a box, or they open up like a chest or something like that, and it's got the old school number 12 Jets jersey with Rodgers on the back. Dude, you'd have every fan losing their mind. It would be the coolest thing.
Yeah, that would be great. The other thing is, I have a prediction.
Okay, fire away.
This is a prediction. Aaron Rodgers signs with the Jets. We go to the Super Bowl, and he faces 49ers with Tom Brady.
Ooh.
Sign me up.
That would be so cool. The 49ers disciple versus the 49ers, and then you got the whole Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. That would be awesome. I would cry if Tom Brady beat us. I would legitimately.
Oh, why would you even put that out there?
No, I'm saying if there was a situation where we had to go against Brady in the Super Bowl, I would have such a pit in my stomach. It'd be like, I know he's 112 years old or whatever the heck Brady is, but like he can't keep doing it. He's got to stop. Hep's getting me all sorts of worked up. So Hep, what do you think the trade compensation will ultimately look like? Do you think the Jets are going to have to give up 13?
No, I don't think so. I think the Jets actually are in a good position. No one wants to pay that. No one wants to pay Rodgers. And who's out there that's really in a position to do it?
Yeah,
What if Rodgers says, you know what? The hell with it. I'm going to stay. I'll stay with the Packers. I think the Packers would have a heart attack right now.
I would bet that's the conversation that happened behind closed doors. I bet Rodgers said, hey, Green Bay, I'm planning to come back and play. And Green Bay was like, so we're going to move on with Jordan Love. And he's like, oh, well, I was planning to play here. So, unless you can find out some kind of good deal that could move me, like I'm planning to be here. And then he kind of has him over a barrel because they're not going to eat the $60 million that they're going to have to pay him.
Right. And they have a hard on for Love. So,
Yeah, and I think it's their time to just play Love. Like it is. This is the time in Rodgers' career when they moved on from Favre. This is the time now to move on from Rodgers. Actually, the time to move on from Rodgers probably should have been last year. I think they would have gotten significantly more compensation, and the team would have been able to sign him to their new contract and had him for 3 years. Now it's like, okay, well, you're going to get pennies on the dollar, and Joe Douglas is just licking his chops.
Exactly. Hey, it was good talking to you guys. I'll see you on the rebound.
Take it easy, brother. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Tigo. My heart.
It's so
I
much
just
going
want to know
on,
what's
and
going to
so
happen.
many things happening, and now Atlanta's going to get a new quarterback, and Lamar Jackson. There's so many things that are going to end up happening. It's just insane.
Yeah, you got to think. I got to think Lamar's going to Atlanta. I really hope he doesn't go home to Miami. That would suck. That would
Can
really,
Miami?
really suck.
Because they don't have a first rounder this year. So would they just take 25 and 26?
Well, that's the great thing. They could give up 24 and 25 because they signed him to the non-exclusive.
24,
Yeah, they sign him to whatever contract Lamar deems, the value, and then they give up their next 2 first-round picks, which are 2024 and 2025. I think it makes a ton of sense for the Dolphins to do it, but I think the Falcons can squeak in there. It's just a matter of if Lamar signs the deal with the Dolphins. Like, are the Dolphins? I don't know. The Ravens are going to just allow Lamar to stay in the AFC for 2 first-round picks. That feels like such a bad decision.
The real conversation is going to have to be, what's the quarterback value? What's the contract, right? Because people just assume, okay, he's gone. No. Baltimore can match the deal, right? And this always seemed like what the outcome was going to be, because I don't know of a team not named Atlanta that would be willing to fully guarantee a contract. Atlanta seems desperate enough to be like, we'll give you 5 years, $250 million a year, fully guaranteed. We don't care, because the NFC South is so bad, right? So 12 games of Lamar is still better than anything else that they're going to be able to put together. And that kind of makes sense. But like, Miami's not in that position. Like you can't get out of the Tua contract.
Oh yeah. Tua's contract's not bad though. Like, because they can decide if they want to exercise his 5th-year option this year after the draft. I think Atlanta makes the most sense because they have a ton of cap space. They're going to send him to the opposite conference. I think they're seeing shades of, Michael Vick. I see Jennifer in the chat says Miami is literally not allowed to approach Lamar with no first this year. Is that actually true? Or would they give up their next 2 first-round picks? I don't know how we would determine that or find that out. But I do think Atlanta is the most likely landing spot, given they were going to give the massive contract to Deshaun Watson. They were going to give up all the picks for Deshaun Watson. It's out of conference. Like, that just makes the most sense. Lucas K says Schefter just said Atlanta out on Lamar. Really?
I didn't see
Really?
that. Let me see.
Is that actually true? All right, McAfee's over, I guess. Damn, nothing.
Wow, yeah. He retweeted Diana Rossini saying that the Atlanta Falcons will not be pursuing QB Lamar Jackson per sources.
No shit.
Wow. That's big.
So if Atlanta's not chasing him, where does he go?
Who's gonna go after him?
Oh man,
would Carolina?
Yeah, I would. If Atlanta's not going after him, if I'm Carolina, I go all in on him. You're gonna have you have a plethora of picks. You don't have to worry about giving up the 2
7?
first.
Aren't they 7? Or
They're
are they
9. Atlanta's 8. Atlanta's in front of them, so Atlanta can still snipe the quarterback from him. I thought Atlanta was going to be the home run because I thought Atlanta might feel like they may miss out on a quarterback.
Washington.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a crazy ton of sense.
14? Or they're 14 or no.
No,
Patriots
16?
are 14.
I think it goes Patriots. I'm pretty sure it's Patriots, Packers, then maybe Commanders.
Well, they're in the middle teens. Giving up a middle teens pick for 2 years for 2 years to get Lamar, especially in a conference that has Hurts,
Yeah. Oh man, if I was Washington,
Danny Dimes, Dak Prescott,
dude, if I was the Giants, I'd be in on Danny Dimes. If I were the Giants, I would be on Lamar as well. I feel like the Giants and Washington should be in on Lamar if Atlanta's not. And I think at the very least, I don't know, Washington makes a shit ton of sense.
Vegas could be theoretically, but I don't think Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, I'd be a little surprised if that happened. Mr. Recht says, "What about the Bucks?"
They don't have the space.
Well, that's the issue, right? Like, because they've kicked the can so far down the road with Tom Brady that they have to pay the piper now. Like, that's why they're going to lose a bunch of players. Yeah,
Wow, this
So
got really interesting.
yeah, not having Atlanta in the mix is very surprising to me. If I were a team, Washington, Carolina, the Giants all make a ton of sense because I would rather pay Lamar like 50 a year for the next 5 than Danny Dimes at 40 for the next 3. Like I know Lamar's an MVP caliber quarterback. I don't know what what could
So
happen.
I found out the whole Miami situation.
All right,
Here
shoot.
is the only way a Miami deal could work. They would have to offer him the contract, and he could not put ink to paper until after the draft.
Really? That's how that would have to
Yes.
work?
Yes, he would have to stay a free agent all the way past the draft, the day after the draft, the day after round 1, where nobody has a first round pick. They could then sign. He can then sign a deal, giving the Ravens 5 days to match the deal or not, and then he could go to Miami. But that's a lot of waiting around
If Lamar wants to go where he wants to go and he's talking to all teams like, hey, I'm only going to go to Miami. Why not, right? Because then Miami could still like build their team around what Lamar could be doing, and they're just sitting playing the waiting game until round 2 of the draft. Oh, that would suck. I would hope that Lamar would want to be on his new team before then and not wait. I don't want him in Miami. That would be brutal. Chai Capiel says, can the Colts pull something like that? Or what about Houston? They could, but they're better positioned to draft a quarterback instead of giving up the 2 firsts. But if the Colts were looking to give up maybe 2 firsts to get up to number 1 anyway, to get to beat out Houston for their quarterback, maybe they give up the picks and they try to do it. I don't necessarily see that.
I didn't think about them because of how high up they are, but that would make sense if they're trying to get to relevancy. Because the Colts aren't, like, when I look at their roster, yeah, they've got holes, but I don't think they're that far away.
Well,
if they can get a wide
didn't
receiver,
they also get the Eagles OC as head coach? Is that them or was that Arizona? So yeah,
Arizona
Lamar
got the DC.
Okay, so the Colts may be thinking, hey, we could run that Jalen Hurts style offense here. Jalen Hurts was MVP caliber. I think Lamar Jackson could be.
Jonathan
That would
Taylor's
be interesting.
there. They could replicate it.
That would be interesting.
It's just a matter of like, is paying when you're at 4 and you can get one of these guys, like that's the thing that I think about is like, what happens? Like, why not just stick at 4 and pick?
I know, that's kind of where I
On
fall.
this stupid cheap contract. Like I keep hearing the Texans name, you mentioned it, but that doesn't make sense. You're at 2. It would cost you a 3rd and a 2nd maybe to move up to 1 to go get your guy.
Yeah.
It just doesn't necessarily make all that sense to me in my eyes.
I understand it. Listen, I have Becca and Shay home, and it seems like Shay's not having the greatest time. I hear a little bit of crying in the background, so I'm going to go see how I can assist. So, Tigo, thank you for jumping on with me. This was a lot of fun to talk some ball. And guys, we're going to be back for the Talking Jets panel tonight. Fingers crossed something happens with Rodgers. I'll have my phone on me just waiting and waiting and waiting for the news to break. We're excited. Tigo, any last words?
Apparently the Commanders are out. They're not going to. Commanders and Ravens, per John Keim and Diana Rossini, are not pursuing Lamar Jackson. They have no intention to. The list is getting smaller and smaller. This is going to work out for the Ravens so well. Oh, I'm excited. Not for Lamar, but for the Rodgers. This whole offseason is insane. I'm so excited.
Fingers crossed. Boys and girls, this is Jets Talk signing off. I'll be back a little bit later tonight. Jets!